Funny talk. That's it. That's the theme song. Fuck you.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Coconut Buyer, and to my left is Yuri, the Canadian.
Hello.
And we're here for another episode of Funny Talk. Unfortunately, Laura cannot make it today.
Her cat.
She had to get a cat or something.
Yeah.
I forget. I was drunk when she told me the explanation. But yeah. So just gonna be the two of us, duo Lamuno.
Hey guys.
Oh my God!
What the fuck?
Hey.
Who are you?
I'm Cam, the other intern.
We have a second intern. Yuri, did you hire?
No, I didn't hire any intern.
Well,
no second.
oh,
I didn't even hire the first one.
Yeah.
Laura couldn't make it, so I got called up by the secretary.
Why? What are you doing here?
This is my house.
Oh yeah.
We're in his house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I just thought we.
Thanks for coming. All right.
Oh, this is a nice place you got here.
Oh, geez. Wow. Thanks.
It's very cool.
Thanks for the water.
Yeah.
It's hella hot outside today.
No problem. Sorry to surprise you like that before, but
No, that's okay. We were being rude. We should have acknowledged your existence or told you we were coming over to record a podcast.
well, here we are, and I can't be more excited for Doug.
Oh! So you've seen Doug?
Oh, I recently saw an episode the other night. Actually.
Really? Did it happen to be season 1, episode 6?
It was.
Whoa. Doug Mayer for a day.
Doug Mayer for a day.
And Doug didn't.
Doug's no dummy.
Yeah,
he's on the same
yeah.
page
There you
as
go.
us.
He knows
Alright.
it better than we do.
Let's
wow,
do a
what are the
podcast.
fucking odds?
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Exciting.
Well, let's first off, let's do a little bit of housework, a little house cleaning, a little spring Labor Day cleaning or whatever. I just want to read some comments on our last episode of Funny Talk, which was several months ago. Sorry, everybody, we've been busy with our lives. So, our first comment is from Samurai Karasu. I'm saying that right, guys?
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely.
Samurai Karasu.
That looks about right.
You know, I'm a big fan of him. And he said, I remember the performance artist woman who put SpaghettiOs in her vagina. I couldn't keep watching that for very long. Ooh, what do you think
Yeah,
about
that was a thing. That was a big thing that existed.
Do you know the name of that person? I forgot to look it up.
No, I think it was Muriel, something like that.
Muriel something?
Yeah.
Was she mentioned in the La Tigre song Hot Topic?
Yes, she was.
Was she?
Speak of the devil.
Was it Caroline? I know Caroline Schliemann, the one me and Laura talked about last time, was in that song.
Oh yeah, that lady, like the knitting lady.
Yeah, the one she was
Yes.
like the cloth out of her vagina.
Yeah, classic.
When you're a lady, I don't want to be generalizing here, but if you're a lady and a performance artist, it seems like a lot of vagina.
The way
stuff.
to go is vagina.
There's a lot of vaginal,
much.
art coming from that.
Vaginal art.
A lot of vaginal art coming from that demographic. Well, fair enough. So thanks you. And then he said, I remember as like a 6-year-old thinking Judy was cute or something. I don't know why. I just felt this was an appropriate forum to share that information.
You know what? I'm glad that he said that because I actually do think she's pretty cute. Of course,
Yeah.
I'm a bit older for her now.
Well, she's like, I guess she'd
How
be like
old would she
14.
be now? Or
I
like
think
in like 2015, how old would
Okay.
she be then?
Doug continuity's weird. I think the
timeline is just all off.
if we were to assume that it takes place the year that it aired, then it would be 1991. So just say she's like 14 for the sake of argument.
Okay.
Well, now she's too old for me then.
Now she's like, so that's like, what is that? I want to say it's like
That's like
24 years.
25 years.
Damn it, Judy!
So she's like 38.
Damn
She's
it.
close to 40.
Come
Yeah,
on.
she's probably
Well, I don't
settled
know.
down.
I date
That
a
ain't-
38-year-old.
That ain't illegal.
No, it's not illegal.
Yeah, why not?
I date.
But no, I think she was cute. She probably
Yeah.
is still pretty cute. You know,
And
she
she's
grew up
cool.
into a lovely lady. Probably.
She's very-
Yeah.
she's
very
very-
artsy lady.
She's very into her art, as we'll see.
Vaginal art.
She's
as
probably
we know.
doing some vaginal art.
Well, I was about to say actually that she does kind of have her head shoved up her ass.
No, her head shoved up her vagina.
Vag. But
Her head shoved up her vag.
but I think that's like she probably came. She
probably came when her head was up her vag.
Yeah, she probably came on her head.
That was her big break. Oh
Yeah,
God.
It's a pretty good art.
I hope your
Like that.
family hears this.
I hope they don't, but they will.
But I just think that she probably got through that phase and she came out an artsy lady nonetheless, but more mature and less extreme about it.
Right.
Yeah.
She you know. I think she's like famous or some shit probably.
Mhm.
She's probably in the Stratford Festival.
Totally. She's has an exhibit at the
The Guggenheim. She's in like Matthew Barney's next film.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's gonna be
Who's
amazing.
that?
Oh, he's like I talked a little bit about him on the Daryak podcast. He was or was it the Daryak podcast? Whatever. I talked about him Sun podcast. It's like the Cremaster Cycle films.
The Cremaster.
Oh no, I think we talked about it outside the
I was
podcast.
about to say I've heard the podcast many times.
And you
I
never
don't
I never
remember
talked about the
this.
Cremaster Cycle?
No.
It's like a series of film, like weird art films that go on for hours and are about like
okay.
they're supposed to be about like the transition from like when you're like a baby, like a fetus forming. You start off with like female parts, and there's like a thing called the Cremaster Cycle, which is when your male parts descend.
Yeah,
From
you
your
definitely
body.
were telling me about
Yeah,
this.
and it's supposed to be kind of like an interpretation of that in a weird artsy.
Vaginal art.
It's not so much vaginal. A lot of penis stuff.
Sounds like
Penis
something.
art.
He does a lot of penis stuff. I think he hangs his scrotum from like doves or something in one of them. But the quality is like so bad that it's hard to tell if that's his penis or not.
Sounds like something Richard Attenborough could have narrated.
Perhaps. But anyways, we're way off topic. We're still reading the first comment, and then he ends the comment by saying, "Oh yeah, and CB, you totally said minstrel blood. I double checked. I don't think you know what."
You know what?
Maybe it came out from my mouth as minstrel blood, but I definitely meant menstrual blood. But I think maybe my eyes and my
okay.
ends get a little slurred
Yeah.
because I was excited about saying menstrual blood.
It's so exciting.
Because when in your life do you say menstrual blood?
Rarely.
Exactly.
Well, we
you know.
said it enough right now.
But also-
like, aside from that,
But also, I was thinking about racial issues probably right before we recorded it. You know,
Yeah. All this
Of
talk,
course.
it makes me want some minestrone. You know?
minestrone out of a nice old vagina.
Mm.
Anyways, so then we have that's I thought there was two E's there. It's Restar, who's commented before, and he or she said there were Happy Meal toys for the Doug movie. If you ever wanted a keychain of Doug's disembodied head, you're out of luck now unless you use eBay. I was gonna look this up on eBay, see if there's any Doug Happy Meal toys, but I guess not.
That
I
sounds pretty
remember.
cool.
I do remember the Doug movie, like coming out and seeing.
Oh
it.
yeah, I saw it in
And
theaters too. Oh yeah.
It was all I remember is that it involves like a monster.
Yeah,
Like,
the
a creature
monster,
from a
Lucky
from
Duck
a Black
Lake.
Lagoon type esque monster.
Yeah.
but from like his lake.
Well, that was like a big plot line in like the second series, Disney's Doug, because Skeeter was all about finding this monster in Lucky Duck Lake,
And it was just like a running gag.
Yeah,
And
it was like
eventually they were like,
it was something for Skeeter to do every episode.
okay.
It's like I'm gonna catch this monster with my honk honk.
Man, if they're ever going to kill off a character, Skeeter.
Skeeter, you
Just
think?
kill him.
Oh no, I think it's gonna be
like
like
a brutal like Game of Thrones.
Like he gets
type
torn
of-
apart by the
yeah.
monster or something.
Yeah.
Like,
oh Doug.
where are you guys running to, Doug? What are you pointing behind me for?
Ah!
I'm like, oh my God, Skeeter, are you okay? What are your last words?
It'll probably
Honk.
it'll probably be Skeeter's dad. He'll die from like heart failure from being too mad.
Yeah.
It's like, oh Doug,
What's that? I'm
No.
having a what's that called?
what's that called? The thing to your heart. Oh.
when it attacks you. Oh.
And then we have Nick Lopergallo. Lopergallo.
Lopergaller.
Lopergallo.
Lopergaller.
Leperligo. So Nick Leperli says, "Can you raise the volume in the next episode? It's really hard to hear." How's this, you motherfucker?
Yeah, the audio guy is.
Oh,
someone
audio
last
guy.
time.
No, thanks for the comment. We'll
We appreciate.
I hope this is better.
We
I hope
appreciate
this
your
is better.
feedback.
Laura was a bit far off that last episode. She was sitting way far
Far
away from
out.
us.
She's far out, bro.
She was far out, bro. She was so high. That's not true. Why don't we just... Oh, wait. Doug News.
Doug News.
Doug News.
Here you go. I actually have legit Doug News, everybody.
Okay,
It's
let's
not
hear it.
it's not actual Doug News, but it's semi-related to Doug. They have announced, I think like Nickelodeon or Paramount or fucking whoever, they announced that there's going to be like a Nicktoons movie that's supposed to be like the Nicktoons version of the Avengers.
Okay, like they're all assembling together to fight an alien invasion.
Maybe. Or they also referred to it's going to be like half live action. It's going to be like a live action hybrid.
Oh.
So it's going to be like Roger Rabbit.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting.
So it's going to have all your favorite Nicktoon characters, and they even name dropped Rugrats,
Ooh.
Hey Arnold,
Ooh.
Angry Beavers,
Okay.
Rocco's Modern Life,
Yeah.
Ren and Stimpy,
Okay.
and not Doug.
Not Doug?
They did not mention Doug.
They must have listened to our podcast.
No, but I think the real reason Doug hasn't been mentioned yet is because, Disney, technically, I think they still own the rights to Doug.
Right.
Nickelodeon does own the rights to their version of the show, but I think maybe Disney I don't know this for sure.
Well, you mentioned that like it's if they're assembling together like the Avengers.
Yeah.
Now, Disney owns Doug.
Yeah.
Disney also owns the
Avengers.
So you're saying that Doug could potentially show up in the next Avengers movie?
Yeah, Quailman is going to be Quailman's going to be in Captain America: Civil War.
Oh my gosh, that's perfect.
He's going to be with Spider-Man, and they're going to
Quailman.
and he's going to get killed immediately by Iron Man. It's like.
Jeez, Iron Man.
Jeez, oh man, I wonder if Patty Mayonnaise will like me if I could beat Iron. Then he gets blasted away.
And then he goes,
dies.
"Where's my arms, pork chop?"
And then something happens and Mr. Dink becomes the main villain, and it's Age of
like,
Mr. Dink.
Hail Hydra! Funny, and he shoots him. So yeah, that's
good Doug news.
So yeah, so Doug is.
I have some Doug news as well.
Okay.
Do you want? Sorry, I stepped out on you there. Do you want to finish your Doug stuff?
Dick, you stepped right on my dick. No, well, he's probably not going to be in it because he's technically owned by Disney still. So that sucks.
Get a job, Doug.
Damn it, Disney, do something with Doug. Sell it to me. I'll buy it off you.
Oh, how much do you think it costs to buy the character of Doug?
They just
$2-3.
Well, the thing is, like, they're not gonna make any money off of it. If I gave them $20, that's the most money they're gonna get off Doug in the next year.
Yeah, and
I
wow,
guarantee it.
$20. Someone wants to shell out $20 for Doug. Take him.
Damn,
take him off our hands.
Sure. And like what? They're gonna maybe they're worried. Like maybe once the Avengers and Star Wars all dry up, because it's gonna happen anytime now. They're gonna be like, okay, let's bring back Doug. Let's do a big Doug live action reboot and reboot Pepper Ann while we're at it in Recess.
I love Pepper Ann and Recess.
Oh boy,
we were talking about the Recess movie the other day. Do you remember?
I don't. Was that with me?
Maybe it wasn't.
I don't think it was with me. I never saw it.
Oh, what? It's crazy.
I wasn't really a big...
Oh my gosh. It's the Recess movie is insane. The
wasn't...
plot of it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
It's like they're trying to... Like the government's trying to shut down recesses.
Well, the thing is, okay, so like it starts off, it's summer vacation.
Yeah.
And TJ's like, yeah, I'm going to be able to like hang with all my friends and it's going to be awesome. But
right.
all of them go off to like a different camp, essentially,
right.
except for him. So he's like stuck alone. And for some reason he sneaks into the school and he finds out that the government is in the school working on this top secret project where they're going to use some sort of laser to move the moon into a different orbit, thus changing the seasons, making summer only like 2 weeks. So they want to destroy summer vacation.
Why would they want to destroy summer vacation?
I don't know. I can't recall.
Also, did they realize like the world's gonna get like fucking destroyed if they did that?
You don't fuck with the moon.
Like Jesus.
Have you played Majora's Mask? Like don't.
Yeah,
fuck
it'll
with the moon.
fucking crash right into you
and have a scary face on it too.
Scary. I love that, like, the subtlety in that. Like, they couldn't just, like, the whole concept of the moon crashing into the planet, destroying everything, it's not scary enough. Whatever, there's a big creepy face on it.
Yeah,
I fucking love that. Like, just give it, like, a gun, too. It's, like, pointed right at you. Like, come on.
There should definitely be a podcast about the Recess movie, because it's crazy good.
Yeah, we should do, like, a Recess thing, too.
Yeah.
We should do, like, maybe we should just watch, like, a couple episodes and
after we get
opinions.
to the next Madman and Daria ones, because we got so many of those.
Oh, they're coming. They're coming. You betcha.
Okay.
We're totally not abandoning them.
That's exciting. I have some more Doug news as well.
Okay.
So I typed in Doug on Google News.
Uh-huh.
And I found out that Doug Martin, who is a football player, is going to be a really good rookie for whatever team he's on.
Cool.
A really good rookie.
I forget what team. I didn't write down what team he was on, but he's gonna be good.
He's gonna be good at being like the newest person on
Hey,
the
I'm
team.
new.
I'm new. Oh, I occasionally make a mistake, but I'm very good at that.
Another thing came out that if you guys watch House of Cards, the character Doug Stamper,
Yeah.
something's gonna happen with him.
Something's always happening with Doug Stamper.
So
Good.
something's gonna happen with Doug.
I would hope he would just have no plot line the
I
entire
didn't want
season.
to. You can look it up yourself, but I
Okay.
don't want to get too into it.
You
With
know
risk
what
of
happens?
spoiling.
They
Like
gave you
there's like
spoilers?
possible spoilers, so I don't even want to spoil the spoilers.
He's a great character on that show.
Yeah, he is good.
Yeah.
He's
It's
just
good show.
spoiled.
He's great.
Okay, so
And then finally, Doug Melvin,
Doug
who is
Melvin.
the general manager of the Milwaukee Brewers, has stepped down after 13 seasons.
What?
Say what?
I know. I don't know. I'm pretty sad about
Wait.
it.
Wait, is this a brewery?
Yes, it's the breweries. It's the brewery. No, it's the baseball team, the Milwaukee.
Why do they call themselves after breweries? I
I
know Milwaukee's are a bunch of
It's the
drunks,
brewers.
The
So
brewers?
they're the ones working at the breweries, making the beer when
That
they're
the
not
make-
when they're not playing
like
baseball.
Well, you know, I
It's
guess
like a company. It started off as a company team.
Well, you
and
don't
they were
play-
just really good and joined the
Huh.
MLB.
well, you know, you don't play baseball
Yeah, man.
all year round. You gotta make money somehow.
Yes, it's true.
Baseball doesn't
Brewing.
pay enough.
It's true, and you got to brew. That's all I got for Doug News.
That's some good Doug news.
That's some good Doug news. I
All
got
right.
nothing.
All right. Okay, so why don't we get to the episode?
Oh,
Hey,
Episodes. We had a big. Me and Cam. We had a big a conversation. It was like a heated conversation a couple nights ago
I remember
about
that.
like how every episode, dear viewer, every episode of Doug is divided into two segments. But I said segments, but you were saying episodes.
Yeah, like how there are 15-minute episodes,
Right.
But they're like to get their segments in one whole episode.
Right, and I referred to the fact that like the way the show is packaged, they're just the two segments are just part of one episode, and then you were
Yes.
saying that they're actually two episodes.
Yes.
That are just packaged together,
Yeah.
which I totally disagreed with, and that's
Yes.
totally confusing.
It was a very confusing
Right.
conversation.
That
You
would-
had
it
a couple
was.
drinks too.
Oh yeah, and
Just
we
like,
were
wait,
drunk
what do you
too,
mean?
so-
I mean this.
It was like, because I couldn't understand you. It was like, wow, what don't you get about this?
And I was like, what don't you get about this? It was great.
Unfortunately, Internet Movie Database clears all that up. It's one episode.
It is
Yeah,
one
it is
episode.
one
Yes, it
episode.
is. I concede that it is.
Well,
one
I
episode.
understand your thought behind that because like the way like cartoons are packaged now, they're packaged
Ooh.
like they're still done the same way, like two episodes and two segments, but now they just make each segment a standalone episode.
Mhm.
But then they still air them back to back. So
Yeah,
what's the
so I
fucking
don't really
point?
know why. Yeah,
I think Adventure Time did that. They started out
Adventure
like
Times does that. Yeah.
Well, they
At
started
least in
off
their
as-
first ones,
they
yeah.
started off as Doug where
Yeah.
they have two segments in one episode, but then they started splitting them up
Mhm.
and actually went back to all their old episodes and did that.
Mhm.
So if you watch like the first season of it, they'll like credit characters that aren't in the episode itself, but are in the next
Oh,
episode, and that's
okay.
why that happened.
Neato.
Yeah,
It's pretty neat.
little factoid. So, anyways, let's get started on our
Okay.
Doug
first-
Mayer for a day.
Doug Mayer for a day.
Let me just say right off the
Doug's the
get go.
Yeah.
Well, the full title of the episode is Doug Mayer for a day and Doug's No Dummy. And I just thought it was, yeah, it's very, very interesting that the title is half Doug's No Dummy because Doug totally looks like one of those 90s crash test dummies guys.
Oh,
Remember? You ever
yeah,
notice that?
yeah,
He looks
I
just
remember.
like one. I
That's a
mean,
deep cut, I guess.
I mean the guys from all those Buckle Up advertisements, and not to be confused with the 90s folk rock band Crash Test
Of
Dummies.
course not.
But
No.
he looks just like them. So you thought I was going to say he's a dumbass, right? But
I thought you were gonna say, "Well, Doug is a dummy."
He is a dummy. He is a
Right.
dummy, and he's a Crash Test Dummy.
What is a Crash Test Dummy song? I can't think of one right now.
Was it Backseat Baby?
No.
That was maybe another advertisement.
Backseat baby.
No, that's definitely one they did.
Baby.
Backseat baby.
Backseat baby.
Backseat. That means she's a slut, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's like in Daria. They kept referring to backseat stuff, and I'm like, what the
Did
fuck
they?
does this mean? Yeah.
Oh man, I should watch those episodes instead of just listening to the podcast.
You should watch Daria. It's a great show.
It is a great show.
Daria is
I
way better than
I
Doug.
really
Yeah.
remember it. I remember it from when I was a kid.
Oh, it
Me and my
holds-
sister really liked it.
it
And
holds
her name
up.
was Jane, and
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
yeah. And at one point, my parents were considering naming me Trent.
Ah,
So
then
when
you
Jane
be
and
Trent and
Trent-
Jay
And then they were
Lane.
like, "Wait, Trent is not a cool name." So,
Well, Trent is a cool character.
He's a
all
cool
like,
character.
Hey Daria. And he like coughs up a lung.
And what was the name of his friend who had the long hair?
Like
That guy was funny too.
Jeez, I don't fucking the part of the Mystic Spiral. That was his band.
Yeah.
But they're thinking of changing the name.
Yeah.
Well, let me get things kicked
sorry.
off.
Let's get
here.
back to Doug.
Doug is about
Okay,
he's about to tell us, and his diary as usual, about his recent field trip. He begins by reminding his journal that up until now he has always found field trips to be boring.
Which I thought was weird.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
that
since when
Doug
are
would-
field trips boring?
This
I
is
thought
a-
Doug would love field trips.
This is a strange opinion. It's a strange opinion. And a strange point of view coming from probably one of the lamest and boring kids in the history of cartoons. Did you guys ever have a field trip that was actually boring?
Because like when you're that age, or like you go to stuff like the museum, which is always cool, or
Yeah.
like even like I went to medieval times, like in grade 5, which was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
But like I never think like, oh, I have to go on a field trip.
Yeah, you get out of school.
Even
if-
like anything would be better.
Exactly. The adventure of it. You could be going to the most boring box factory or whatever. It's still, field trips are awesome. It's a chance to misbehave and not get caught.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm with you on that one. I don't know why he said it was
I don't know.
pretty
Doug's
boring.
Because he's lame.
Because well,
Maybe-
you'll see in this episode what people think of him when he,
Okay.
how
Yeah.
lame he actually is.
Yeah, let's not-
Going with
we're
that,
getting ahead of
'cause you know what
ourselves.
I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
I know what you're talking about.
So, Student Government Day.
Yeah, that's
Student Government Day.
it was like decreed by the mayor.
What I found interesting was that he said it was like just instituted by the mayor,
Mm-hmm.
and then he also says that the Student Government Day ice cream extravaganza is also an annual event. But if he just instituted it, I
Right.
guess like he's like saying it's going to be annual from now on. But I was a little like, oh,
That's a good point. It's the first annual.
yeah.
yeah. So why would he want like both of? So he wants them both to overlap.
I don't. Well, he wants him to start. He's
Okay.
made it like an annual thing now.
Yeah.
To
And
the
I
Student
just-
Government Day,
Yeah, I
and
just thought
there's
it
the
was-
ice cream day too.
But then later, when he goes to talk to Doug,
yeah,
like Doug explains to him what it is.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
He
He's
doesn't know what the
I'm
fuck's
here
going
for
on."
like student government.
Well,
Day."
that's
It's like,
kinda-
Did you just decree it? And isn't this an annual thing now? And also,
Well-
like, what the fuck is going on?
well, Mayor Rob Bud Light,
Rob White.
Rob White,
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
say, or Bob White.
Mayor White.
yeah,
So he's an idiot.
He's on some blow.
yeah. What was
For
it?
sure.
Yeah, his name was Robert Bob White.
Robert
Yeah,
Bob White.
right.
Vote for me.
Bob White.
Robert Bob White. Vote
Well,
for me.
let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
No, we're
So-
gone way ahead of ourselves
'cause,
and behind
We
ourselves.
forgot, Mr. Bones says they have to write
Vice
a.
Principal Bone.
They have to write a paper on whatever government job they get. for
Right.
That's
their
right.
student
Each
government
kid
day.
spends a day
Yeah.
with a local government official.
Yes.
Yeah, and writes a paper.
Which is this like is this a thing in real life?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe.
I've never
maybe.
done it, but this could be American thing again.
Yeah.
Like Picture Day, which we found out from Samurai Karasu that it is not a real thing.
Because I feel like maybe you've had like take your kid to work day,
Yeah.
which I've like done before, but like, and I'm sure there's been like government things, but I've never had like, okay, each person gets a different government person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems it's like circumstantial, like for the episode,
Yeah.
just to.
Also, all in a day. Wouldn't that fuck things up?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. There's no way to coordinate that,
No.
especially
No,
with
no.
11-year-old kids. Give me a
No.
break.
Well, coordinating the government. That's a good one. That's a funny
Yeah.
thing.
So after he says all this, Roger says, "I want to be sheriff," which I thought was a little weird because he's like the bad guy.
Yeah.
He wants to be a corrupt cop.
Oh, he totally does.
But I could also see him like being like, "Yo, fuck the police," you
Well,
know? Because he's a badass.
Oh
He's a
yeah, yeah.
rebel.
Well, he just wants to be like an asshole to everybody by
Yeah.
being the asshole sheriff.
Okay.
And he just wants to shoot all the purple people.
Yes.
And he wants to have a big dick,
What?
so he carries
So he
a
carries a
gun.
gun.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
so it
yeah.
could be like, yeah.
Compensation.
Hey, Patty.
Skeeter says he wants to be a head astronaut for some reason.
Oh,
Yeah.
because he's a
Astronaut.
space cadet.
Yes,
Because he's always on the
also
moon
for
dust.
one like flash of a second, he
Yeah.
was wearing like a fake
An arrow.
arrow through his head.
What the hell is
Wait,
up
was
with the
he?
arrow? Yeah,
It
yeah,
came out
yeah.
of it's like a blink and
Huh?
you miss it. See, okay, you're not the only. I
What?
thought I was
I
tripping
I
out.
totally
was like,
missed this.
what the hell is up with Skeeter's arrow through the head? Like, it's
Huh?
real funny, Skeeter. There isn't even any mention of the arrow like through dialogue whatsoever.
And it's there for a second,
And then a
it's
second
gone.
later-
That's so weird.
A second later, Skeeter is inexplicably wearing an astronaut helmet, and he says, "I want to be a head astronaut," and then Doug says, "I want to be chief forest ranger,"
Ugh,
and then the scene is over.
Yeah.
Like for starters, maybe that was a real arrow through Skeeter's skull because there is most definitely something wrong with his head.
Because it wasn't there before, and
Yeah.
then it's there, and then it's gone again.
I really
and
wish I
there's
saw
no context with it whatsoever.
Is it like it's supposed to be like in his mind or something, or
No,
just like a way of
no.
illustrating? Or
No,
he just had them.
He just had it, and then he didn't have it. He had an astronaut
I
helmet.
don't know.
I just think that maybe it was a real arrow, and that would explain why he's just stupid. Like, secondly, I noticed how characters say things that
Yeah,
are
dumb.
that are what did I write? They're beatless. The things that they're saying in the scenes, they're just beatless. Not to be, I mean, not
Like as a story beat.
yeah, exactly.
Like as like an important thing to the plot.
right, not to be confused with a fictional '90s Beatles ripoff band, the Beats.
Whoa, hello.
Hello, Killer
They're not,
Tofu.
they're not a ripoff of the Beatles.
All right, let's just move along.
They are their own, maybe inspired by the Beatles, but if you're saying every band was inspired by the Beatles, then basically the last 30 decades of music have been completely Beatles ripoffs.
Man,
30 decades.
30 decades.
If you don't-
I don't think music's been around that long.
if you don't think that the Beats are a ripoff of the Beatles, you got to get a job. You got to get a job. I just mean, but
Are we
moving on.
bragging about your new job again, Yuri? Huh?
I just mean that the way these young characters they say stuff like what Doug said
Yeah.
is more along the lines of how small children always blurt out their opinions for no other
Yeah.
reason than like to gain attention and the satisfaction of that attention. These lines where the kids are shouting out which government official they wish to be, to shadow which government official they want to shadow
Right.
around, it serves no real purpose in terms of the story or jokes. It is beatless, and it made me realize, ironically, for the first time, that this show really is aiming for a low age demographic. You know?
You just realized
I
this,
just
Yuri.
realized that.
Yes.
Like, who else could really find this type of dialogue noteworthy
Well-
besides the young children or 3 grown men who run a podcast on it?
Exactly. But I would disagree with you in saying that that kind of stuff is beatless. I think it is important to establish, like, that they're into this thing and that maybe, like, some of them aren't going to get what they want. And, like, obviously, like, Doug doesn't want
Doug's
to be
gonna-
mayor.
Yeah.
So it establishes that.
Also, no one wants Doug to be mayor.
we'll
When
get to that.
he's
We'll get to
like-
that.
Okay.
But then,
I think
but
that
also it's like character building too, and that's important in a television show. Not so much in like a movie.
right.
Well, it is in a movie.
I
but-
I get Doug. I just didn't think it was needed for the other characters, but
Well, I think
like, the
you
fact
need,
that
you need to give
But they're all
lip
like,
service
"I
to
wanna do
everyone.
this."
it was
I wanna
funny.
do that.
It
Yeah.
was funny when Skeeter says that he's the chairman of the dairy board. 'Cause
Yeah, I
'cause
thought that was funny.
I
Chairman
could
of
just
the
see
dairy
him.
board.
Yeah, when they like the kids all first of all the kids all attack Mr. Bone when he's like in an orderly fashion.
Oh, and there's like that great shot where they're
And
just
they
like,
boom,
whoa, they just come right at him like a
and they
horror film.
attack him.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
just like oh god after.
Oh.
And yeah, what did Skeeter have
Chairman of the dairy
Chairman
board.
of
Okay,
the
I like
dairy
that. I
board.
thought that was pretty funny.
He's
Yeah.
probably the reason the ice cream.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Later,
whoa.
okay, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But
And then Roger got sheriff.
Roger got
Which
Roger got what he wanted.
they didn't expand on that whatsoever,
No.
which was
They
disappointing.
just
No.
gave Roger something.
Like, I would have loved to
Yeah.
see him, like, beating up some guy on the street with
Yeah.
a nightstick or...
And
Patty
Mayonnaise
got head of press care.
okay,
Press corps.
which was cool.
Yep.
And then he's like, Doug's like, I got the mayor. And Patty's like, wow, that's great. Hey, everyone. Hey, everyone.
Everyone,
Doug
Doug
got
is-
mayor. And everyone's just like, oh,
Uh,
fucking whatever.
yeah.
No one gives a shit.
Yeah.
It's so funny. The best.
And
No
Doug's
one-
bummed out about it, and everybody else is even more bummed out about
Like
it.
he
That's
like he also barely gives he also doesn't really give a shit.
Which
He's
is
just
like weird.
Oh, whatever. I got mayor. Like he's just pretty much like been like, well, like I'm never gonna do anything with
Well-
my life because I'm a loser.
Why
and
would
so
he
why would
not-
I get mayor?
why would he not-
Whatever, I'm gonna be terrible.
Why would he not like Mayor?
I don't know.
It's
I
like,
think
that's
it's
a
because he knows
cool-
he's useless, and
Oh,
everyone
yeah,
else
maybe.
also knows
Yeah.
he's useless.
Yeah.
That's why they're all like,
Yeah.
He
oh,
knows
Doug's
that
the
this
mayor,
is-
whatever.
This is only setting him up to fail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially.
That's just so telling that just everyone in the class is like, Yeah, whatever.
But then like and yeah, everyone is like whatever.
That was
It's
like
amazing.
That was a great moment for me.
And then so they get off the bus. I like the Mr. Bone joke where he says, "Let me repeat myself. Let me repeat
Yeah,
myself."
that was clever.
Let me
That's
repeat
funny.
myself.
And then he just says what he already said about the paper thing.
Right.
But then he singles out
Doug.
and threatens him.
Harasses him.
Harasses him.
And then he
You're-
phones him later and harasses
Yeah,
him
which
more.
is so
That-
funny.
that made
I thought
me
that
like-
was very funny.
Like
yeah.
he's in the mayor, like Doug's in the mayor's office doing what he's supposed to do, and then Mr. Bone phones him up again
and it's
and says like, "How's that permanent? How's that? What's it? How's that? You better be writing good notes,
that paper,
Funnie.
What's going on your
Permanent
You're
record."
going down, Douglas.
It's just like,
Fuck
what?
you,
Yeah, it's just
Doug.
Like at this point, like Mr. Bone's a bigger bully than
Yeah.
Roger. At least
Oh, totally.
Roger's just like a shitty kid. Like Mr. Bone
And when I
is an
first,
adult.
yeah, and when he first starts, like the first time before the telephone, when he
Yeah.
first like harasses and threatens him, he also there's a weird angle that makes it look like the angle's supposed to be like he's belittling like Doug, and
Yeah.
like, Doug looks small, but like it's like right at his crotch.
Yeah, right
line.
to his crotch. I
And
remember
I'm
that,
like,
yeah.
it looks that angle looks like Doug's about to blow him.
Oh, no.
What is going on?
Well, he is Mr. Bone.
Yeah.
If anything, Bones should be blowing Doug because Doug's the mayor. Come
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
yeah.
I'm the mayor, so let's
Let's-
switch positions.
come on,
here.
Mr. Bone.
Yes.
You're my bone.
So he goes in and he sees the mayor, the picture of the mayor,
Mayor White.
Robert Bob White.
Robert Bob White.
And then he has that fantasy newsroom thing,
Yeah,
but it's in like a permanent record thing.
it's
I
like
thought that was
his name
kinda
of the
weird.
talk. It's like he's doing like a talk show, and the talk show's called Permanent Record.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's like interviewing the mayor. I didn't take a lot of notes, so I kind
No.
of forget
I
what.
was just said all I wrote was weird. That was weird.
Yeah,
Like, I
it
don't
wasn't
know.
like really funny or anything. He just
No.
kind of was talking to the mayor, and it went okay, I guess.
A lot of the show isn't funny though.
It's true.
Wow, you guys
It
are
comes and
so
goes.
mean to Doug. I think
Well,
this is.
we just said there were some good lines.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
repeat myself. Let me
This-
repeat myself.
Let me repeat myself. And
Um,
Doug Skeeter being a dairyman.
So then the mayor shows up, and you see the picture of him beforehand.
Right.
And I thought it was weird that in his picture, he's a lot like it looks
Lighter.
like lighter. He looks like he got super tan, or like they're just like whitening him like they did to Jesus and stuff like that in these pictures.
Or it could just be like a faded photo, like a faded painting.
He's been mayor for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it has been established he's been mayor for a long time.
It establishes that he could be mayor for another 30 years.
Right.
Yeah, it
That's
does.
right.
It's a strange town, man. It's strange. Let me take a second, to talk more about Bob White as a character. I mean, he's a bit of an idiot, right?
Yeah, he's an idiot.
He can't do anything.
He's a buffoon.
First, he tells Doug that Doug is an important member of the community, and we all know that Doug probably is the least important member of
Oh,
Fluffington.
useless.
Yeah, absolutely useless.
Useless.
Next, the mayor gives Doug a sucker, and the sucker itself is a small portrait of Mayor White's head.
Exactly.
Yeah, his
Yes.
profile of his head.
And on the back side of the sucker is the message, "Don't be a sucker, vote for me." So essentially, Bob White is insinuating that being a sucker sucks, even though he has created a sucker in his own likeness. This is confusing.
And he gives them to people
you're
who he
getting
probably
really-
considers suckers.
And who also
Yeah.
can't vote.
Yeah.
He keeps telling Doug to
No,
vote
that's
for
what I was
him.
going to say. Not to mention, Doug is not old enough to vote, and if Bob White cannot clearly see that, then perhaps he shouldn't be running for mayor. Although maybe mayor of Bluffington makes sense. After, talking to Bob White, it becomes clear that he is an idiot.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
one of the first things he says is like to be a mayor, you got to be firm, and decisive, or not.
That's
It's
true.
It's
What?
so it's such you never see like this kind of political satire in a children's show.
I know it's true.
So I thought it was kind of it
Just
was
a useless mayor. Yeah,
pretty
totally.
subversive,
Well, like I
I'd
said
say.
before, like
Interesting point.
Doug also explains to the mayor what he has to do, despite the fact that the mayor started this program,
right.
right? So I thought,
Yeah,
that,
so
like I
he
said,
has like little
he's
care
like,
what he
ah,
signs
right,
off
yeah,
on.
exactly.
It's it teaches our children how to question our political authorities,
Mhm.
which is a great message and something you never see in a children's
Do you really
show.
think that's what it is?
In a way, yeah.
That's really interesting. I didn't
Because,
think
like,
about it
he's an
because I was
idiot.
saying before this definitely does aim for a low age demographic,
Right.
but the fact I didn't think about it. Because sure, they
Because,
have the mirror in the Simpsons, but that's the Simpsons.
Who,
isn't it?
Right.
who I
But
also
this is-
thought like there's one point where they're walking down the hallway and you could hear someone say something like, "Hey, we need a decision on this."
Yeah.
It sounds
It's
like Mayor
JFK.
They were doing the
Yeah,
JFK.
they're doing the Mayor
Well,
Quimby, who's
or
supposed to
Bobby.
be doing like
Yeah,
the
we
Kennedy.
need something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one of the Kennedys works for Mayor White.
I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, it's a funny little homage.
Yeah.
And that guy's probably dead though.
Must have been Teddy.
He starts off with he tries to do a jelly donut metaphor as well. He's like, being a mayor is like being a jelly donut. And then he doesn't really finish it.
Oh, no, because
being
he's
a
an
mayor
idiot.
is like
Yeah.
being.
You gotta be sweet on the
On the outside, and you know what? Never mind.
Well, his metaphor was like a jelly donut. Like,
Yeah.
who really finishes those?
Exactly. No one wants too much.
Oh, you know what's
I-
worse than a jelly donut?
Yeah,
The
what?
cream-filled ones.
The Boston cream.
Boston
What the
creams?
fuck is up
Yeah.
with
Some
that?
people like Boston creams.
Oh, give me a break.
I'm
man.
not a big fan of either because there's just too much. They're too flavorful. Like there's too
Yeah.
much going on in
I'd rather
there.
have a donut or a Timbit or something.
Donut.
I love Timbits.
But you
Me
know,
too.
you'd think that literally you get more food out of a jelly donut because
Yeah,
there's
it's
no
really-
hole in the
Oh,
middle.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's all just goo.
It's just
and-
like, you take one bite and like, oh no, I didn't realize.
Yeah.
what
What have I done?
Oh, I didn't want to commit to this.
Um,
He's in we're in Hogwarts
because of the moving pictures.
his
in
pictures
office.
his pictures have eyes and they all like follow
Right.
Doug.
And they also, I wasn't sure if it was meant to establish like those are all of his old family members, and he just has them on the wall because they all kind of look like him. right?
Yeah.
Or if like they were also not only his family mayors, but also like mayors, like family members, but also mayors of the town before,
I think that's most likely.
because that's like
Yeah.
sets up some sort of weird like patriarchy
Mhm.
Oh, in Bluffington.
in a monarchy, if you will. Like,
Yeah.
you know, patriarchy's all around us. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
the monarchy.
monarchy, yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was weird.
I wonder if I'm
The
sure.
same corrupt family has been running Bluffington into the ground for years. They've been
I-
pulling all the strings.
Definitely think that's implied. I wonder if like Jim Jenkins apparently he really like did his world building and try to like establish everything in Bluffington. Like apparently there's like a whole like detailed map to Bluffington that the writers had.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like he would probably know better than anybody if there was like lineage in the
history.
mayor's line.
Ooh.
I'm
We should get him on and ask him.
I kind of would like to. I don't know. That would be weird.
I'm
because
not sure he'd appreciate everything.
He wouldn't
that we
appreciate
say.
you, Yuri.
No, he wouldn't. I didn't want to say
Fuck.
me.
Yeah, he probably hear this podcast.
I also-
and be like, "Those
No, he
fuckers."
would. You know what? He would listen to our first episode and then be like, "These fuckers can't even get my name right."
What did you call him the first?
I called
episode?
him Jimbo Jenkins,
Jimbo
Why?
from like
Jim
the
Jimbos,
Simpsons,
yeah,
right?
Jimbo Jones.
Jimbo Jones.
But you
yeah.
came back, you put your future self in,
Right.
and you cleared it up.
Well, like fuck, like Jim Jenkins is not like a household name, man. You don't see
I
like
know.
it's not like Matt Groening or something, and I'm pretty sure everyone fucks his name up all
Yeah.
the time. So and
Yeah.
I think I just did.
I think I heard it was graining. I don't know.
I think it is Groening. No, I think you're right.
I don't know.
think it's Matt
I
Groening.
don't know. But so yeah, I thought that was weird that they're moving pictures in his office.
Mhm.
He keeps referring to Doug. He never calls Doug Doug. He just says, "Hey, young person."
Young person,
Um,
which is great.
and when so then we get to the phone thing where Mr. like
Swirly.
he can't get not yet. He can't get a clear answer out of the mayor over what does he do. So then the phone rings and it's Mr. Bone who threatens him.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a fantasy at first.
Me
But
too.
it was clearly real because
Yeah.
the mayor
Yeah.
answers it and he like gives it back to him, and there's none of that like.
Yeah. It was like there's a lot of moments in like these next two episodes where I feel like, oh, this is a fantasy, right?
Yeah.
But no, it's real.
Yeah.
yeah, totally. Like the end of the second
Right.
episode or second segment. Yeah.
I thought they would do like a weird dream thing where it's like Doug it appears like it's happening for real, but then Doug like wakes up. It's like whoa, but
no, but that
they
kept
never
going.
they never do that.
So I just want to say that was not a fantasy.
No, that happened.
That was a
Mr.
teacher verbally harassing and threatening a student.
Mr. Bone
In the
asshole.
middle,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's been like 3 minutes since he last said anything. It's like, oh, you better have it done, Funny. And it's like, you just talked to me like 3 minutes ago.
Mr. Bone's
You just assaulted me, verbally assaulted me 3 minutes ago.
Mr. Bone's officially like the biggest asshole in the Doug
More than
canon.
Roger, even.
Oh yeah, way
Yeah.
more.
But he picked a good kid to pick on.
Well, I think Mr. Bone did it because he knows he could get away with it if it was with Doug.
Doug, yeah, like anybody can just you could go and
Yeah, you
kick,
can just shit on
you
Doug.
could kick Doug in the head and you're not
No
gonna
one
get
would
in
give a
trouble.
shit.
Yeah.
Right. So he hasn't started his report. He looked at his schedule. All the mayor had on his schedule was lunch. So that was exciting.
Yeah.
It was just like lunch. Oh, it's a busy day there,
great.
young person.
Young person. Vote for
Young
me.
person,
Yeah.
vote for me.
He always says vote for me. I think he was in a previous episode and he did that too. So
Mm.
Was the Pillsbury Doughboy in this episode? Oh no! That was Mr. Swirly.
Pillsbury Doughboy
Wait,
has
okay, yeah.
not
Then
yet
the next
appeared
part
in
is
Doug.
when Mr. Swirly calls.
Oh yeah, he calls.
This is where we get serious.
And we think that the mayor is an idiot, like Mr. Swirly.
Oh my god, he's so dumb.
Well, let's
so
establish
useless.
Mr. Swirly. He's like the head of the. He's like basically the Colonel Sanders of like a big ice cream factory in Bluffington
Yeah.
that has like a vanilla chocolate and like strawberry ice cream towers.
Yeah.
Meltdown.
And they have
And
a
they're
meltdown. which I
all
thought
of them
was
are
fun. I
melting.
thought that was funny.
It was funny. I remember this vividly as a kid because I was like, man, I want to go to that factory.
Yeah, and this meltdown horrifies Bob White.
because they
Right.
can't
Yeah.
do the extravaganza.
That's right. The
Right,
ice
the
cream
ice
Annual,
extravaganza.
the first one,
Right.
And it's going to be annual.
It's gonna be a disaster.
There's already a problem.
Right.
And
So
he
there's
freaks
stakes.
out. Yeah, he's like, oh my gosh,
Loses
like
his shit.
I'm gonna like.
The mayor does.
I'm
Yeah.
like, he's like, oh man, all these 11-year-olds are gonna get so mad at me, and then
Oh,
they
tear me
won't
limb
vote
from
for
limb.
me, despite the fact that they already can't vote for me. Like, he's really freaking out over something that's just like, oh shit.
Yeah, well, I'll be afraid of like a bunch of 11-year-olds,
Yeah.
man. Like, some of them probably have like hormones.
But he wasn't so scared of an 11-year-old that he didn't not leave an 11-year-old alone in his office. Like,
Yep.
what an
Well,
idiot.
that's Doug, though.
What's
the worst Doug gonna do?
What? Would you leave an 11-year-old alone in a mayor's office?
No, I would not.
Like if
Yeah.
what would you do if you were in that situation? I would if you were an 11-year-old and you were just given the responsibility in a mayor's office, okay? Just think about the possibilities there. Think about the possibilities. I'd be like prank calling. I'd just,
Shut everything down.
I'd steal anything that was remotely worth any money at all and sell it.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think the mayor really has that much power, as was even
Well,
established.
clearly he was just about to go to lunch, so
Right.
that's his only thing.
That was the
But,
only
like,
thing on his
No, you're
agenda.
right. You probably as a politician would, or not even a politician, just like as a professional person, don't put a child who could be
That's all I'm saying.
reckless
Yeah.
in a room alone, because you don't know what's going to happen. Accidents
Exactly.
happen.
Of
It's
course,
crazy.
it's only Doug, but he doesn't know that Doug's like something's wrong with his
As
head.
far as he doesn't
So-
know, like how big of a like loser Doug is.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
far.
Yeah.
Like exactly.
That's all I was thinking. And then
Wasn't there a fantasy sequence?
yeah, Doug
Yep,
starts
there was.
hallucinating again. A
Sits in his
flashback.
chair.
Right.
Yeah, a flashback to the camping episode when he and Roger did acid in the woods and saw a dancing, smiling serpent.
Yes.
And
As
in,
established.
and in this hallucination, he imagines that he has taken over the post for mayor. And I say mayor in a unique way, apparently. And in doing so, he carries on several phone calls at once. One of which he says one of the smartest things that Doug has ever said, which was "Hold the mayo," as in, of course, this order was not carried out. As a second later, Patty Mayonnaise pops her head in,
Patty
along,
Mayo.
along with her annoying voice, into frame to ask Doug, the mayor, some questions on behalf of the press corps. Like, he said, "Hold the mayo," and my heart skipped a beat. I thought he's finally seen the light. He's finally seen the light. He's realized that
There's
there's
enough with Patty.
there's nothing. What?
Enough with Patty.
He doesn't
Patty,
want
yeah,
any
yeah.
more Patty Mayonnaise.
There's nothing special about Patty Mayonnaise.
Hold the mayo.
Hold the mayo.
That's
Hold
what
the
he
mayo.
says, yeah, before he just walks away.
There's
You
an
know what,
there's an
Patty?
episode.
I'll hold the mayo.
There's
And
an
he walks
episode
away.
later on where he loses his crush on Patty Mayonnaise, and it's called Doug Holds the Mayo.
He what?
He loses his crush on Patty Mayonnaise.
Really? Why?
Because I guess she saw her like fart or something.
He saw her fart.
He saw her fart, and he's like, no, fuck this, Skeeter. I'm gonna
I'm
like
not
somebody
into this.
else, and he dates like Phoebe for a bit.
Oh, I realized we forgot to mention another fantasy.
Oh no, that was what I was referring to. The first fantasy.
Yeah, that was before we even checked out the lunch thing, so we jumped a little bit ahead. But yeah, the 30 years later,
Right.
Doug was going to be mayor.
Oh yeah.
And he's actually
First of all, Mayor Robert Bob White is still the mayor.
Robert Bob Ford.
Yes, Bob Ford. Yes, is still the mayor, and he's supposed to hand him over the key to the city. But Mr. Bone steps up and calls him a loser and shows him the permanent record.
Permanent record.
And Mr. Boat's like a crusty old man by this point.
Yeah, and then
And then we see all of Doug's friends as adults. And
Yeah.
Skeeter has blonde hair. What the fuck?
he went through a midlife crisis, and
Okay. So it's
yeah,
like,
and
he just
Judy
dyed
is
it.
like all like kind of like a fashionista.
Oh,
I guess we
Judy
do
was
see
there?
her. I guess we do see her.
Was
when
she
she's
hot?
Yeah.
older.
Was she hot?
She's pretty hot.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't catch that.
Hey,
Right,
hey, hey.
right.
If this came true, this would be
Well, 30 years later.
I'll be a little bit more in the
Maybe
future.
this would be maybe we should figure it out and find out when.
No, wait, I can figure it out right now.
I guess it'll
It's
be
2021.
2021.
2021.
So we got to celebrate in 2021.
Doug being
Doug
mayor.
for mayor.
Doug for mayor.
Doug for mayor.
Not Ford.
Doug
but-
Ford for mayor. Oh man, you saw Rob Ford recently.
I did.
Yeah, you know, I'm not. We're not going to say how you met him, but you
I
saw
don't know
him
if
at a
it's.
place.
Yeah, I don't know if I could talk about
Well,
it. I
let's
guess I didn't
assume
really-
not. Let's assume
Yeah,
not.
but I did see him.
You did
he
see
was
him.
not looking good. He was looking.
I saw a picture. He looked pretty.
He's in rough shape.
Oh, no.
So I guess he wasn't faking the cancer.
Oh no!
I thought for sure he.
It's just like to pull it.
Just his character.
Yeah, just
His
like.
character is like, sure, he would lie about having a terminal illness.
Well,
Are you kidding me?
that was a whole fiasco. That whole 6 months when it was
Yeah.
oh, he might do crack. Oh, he for sure does crack. Also
Yeah,
he's
and
in
then
rehab. Also
denied
he has
it,
cancer.
and then you
Yeah.
left rehab several times.
and also
They gotta
also
make
he's
I
like
already
a-
have enough to eat at home.
Also,
Do you remember that incident?
oh yeah,
That
I was like,
What was that?
I would never eat that woman's pussy.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
enough to eat at home,
yeah.
which is like I think I saw that live on TV when that happened.
Oh really?
I think I did, yeah, and I was like,
He was
what the fuck?
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was
fa-
amazing.
My
Wow.
favorite's the one where he runs through the council chamber and knocks that one lady over.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. And one of the late night shows took that
Oh.
footage. And it's like the Ford mating
Oh,
ritual,
yeah.
and just bumps
Boom.
into her. And
That was so surreal seeing a Toronto mayor on fucking
What a weird.
every late night
It
show.
was weird.
Anyways, he's gonna die soon.
oh boy.
Back to our other mayor, Bob White.
Bob
so,
White.
yeah, he like you said, hold the mayo. That whole other fantasy happened,
Mhm.
and then the ice cream people call him again.
Yes.
Mr. Swirly calls him again, and he's like, "It's really getting out of control."
I
The guy
love
was
it.
still, or Mr.
I
Swirly
love
still
it.
refers to him as mayor, despite
Right.
the fact that they're clearly
Says not-
Skyping. Like they have a video feed.
Wait, they do?
Yeah, he's
Are
looking
they?
at at least. Well, we know we can at least see Mr. Swirly. We don't. I guess we don't know if Mr. Swirly can see Doug, but you see for it's a screen that
What?
pops up, almost a computer screen,
Right.
and he answers it.
He probably doesn't see Doug.
No, but you could definitely see Mr. Swirly.
But he's an
So I
idiot
guess he
too.
doesn't. But he also doesn't realize that
Yeah.
this isn't.
You think the
fair.
mayor installed probably millions of dollars installing little tiny cameras to all the important
Yeah.
people
Oh,
that
for
he
sure.
calls just so he could see them?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
To make his life a little more easier,
makes
and
sense,
his life a
but-
bit more lazier. But I just love.
Okay, yeah.
I love
think know
how
what you're
how
getting to.
pathetic Mr. Swirly is.
Yeah.
In the whole scenario
Mhm.
about he has the ice cream, it's in the ventilation. It's
Yeah,
gonna hit the
the chocolate
Oh.
chips are going to hit the fan.
Literally, the shit is going to hit
the
the
chips
fan.
hit the
Yeah.
fan.
And-
And he goes, what should we do? Please, Mayor, help me, Mayor.
This is Mayor 5 times.
Help me, Mayor.
Mayor.
That's
It's like
exactly what
he
he
runs a
says.
company and he can't do shit without the mayor.
Other than having the convenience of having a name and a hairstyle reminiscent of soft ice cream, Mr. Swirly probably has no human right, absolutely no human right to run a fucking ice cream factory if he let matters get this worse, and his only solution is to call the mayor for technical advice, let alone calling fucking Doug Funnie for a
Yes.
solution.
But what I loved most about that was that they're like, what do we do? This thing is about to happen.
Right.
What do we do? And Doug says, essentially, why don't you just let that thing happen? And Mr. Swirly's like, oh, what does he say? Do you have it written? I think you have it somewhere, but it's like,
No, I didn't write it.
he's like, oh, well, that would solve everything. I called you to ask for advice on this thing, but you just said, let it happen. And I just realized that
Oh,
that would be
of course.
fine. It would fix everything.
I wasn't paying.
He thanks the mayor. He's like, thank you, mayor,
Thank you,
so
Mayor."
much for doing nothing. He did absolutely nothing.
And he can't tell that he's talking to a prepubescent boy.
Yes.
No.
It's amazing.
Doug says, let the chips hit the fan.
Let
And
the
Mr.
chips hit the
Swirly's
fan.
like, as he's like about to drown, is just
Yeah,
like,
he is drowning. He drowns at the end.
Yes,
That's
he
what
does.
I wasn't paying attention to what he was saying because I was like, oh my god, he's gonna drown.
He's like, oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor, you saved us. And then he's like, and he drowns.
I think he says you saved my job, and then he's dead.
But his life,
he's just dead. You know,
R.I.P. Mr.
This is
Swirly.
like an even greater, profoundly. He's of a profoundly unintelligent nature. This man, he is. Oh my
that
god!
whole thing just lost it
Mr.
for me.
Swirly.
Where it's just like, where he just says like, what do we do? And he's like, well, just let it happen. You saved us. Thank you so much.
Like if you didn't call, he would have the same thing would
Yes,
have happened.
exactly.
I was talking to Richard, texted him briefly about this matter the other day, and I said he's the biggest idiot because he creates and he solves his problems in the exact same way by doing nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Oh my god!
I love it.
So
Mayonnaise comes along.
Well, first of all, Doug, it's like, wow, Doug, you made a decision, and the mayor's like, what? You made a decision?
Oh, yeah.
But like, I'm the mayor, and you're just a child. How can you make a decision? Clearly, he's freaking out.
Young
Right.
person.
And the media
Yeah.
busts in through the door, and they're all like, hey, there's the man who like made the decision, and the mayor's like, what? It wasn't me. No, it was this kid. Because the mayor doesn't realize like that Doug.
Succeeded.
Well, he didn't succeed because he
He
didn't do
saved the
anything,
day.
but he saved the day because
Right.
that's what they keep saying. Doug saved the day, and
Not
like,
really.
and like Patty says, like, you know, you saved Mr. Swirly, but as we know, he's clearly dead and drowning in ice cream right now.
That's right.
So
This is his lifeless body in a like a bunch of melted chocolate ice cream.
yeah, and so the mayor thinks he's ruined for some reason, but so he's like, oh, it was
Oh.
Doug, but like Doug.
And he says a great line like, "I'm the mayor. I'm never responsible."
Yeah.
It's so great.
So it's made clear to Doug that he did in fact save the ice cream extravaganza, and also apparently brought Mr. Swirly back to life, back from beyond the grave,
He resuscitated him.
all by doing absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
He did nothing.
Man, okay. If you were to save somebody's life and they drown in ice cream and they're like dying and you had to do mouth to mouth, you would totally want to do it, right?
Yeah.
Because you
Oh,
get
yeah.
some of that ice
Ice
cream out of
cream.
there.
But it would be all warm because it had been in their body.
Oh, then it'd be like a hot fudge sundae.
Hot
Because
fudge
some of that vomit would be like the chocolate.
hot fudge sundae from the lungs.
Oh, man.
That's the best way to have it.
I think I found a new fetish.
So he also says, Doug also says, and you know what? I think I got what I needed for the report. And it's like, you got nothing. Nothing. You literally got nothing.
My report. The mayor is fucking useless.
And you just have to make a decision, and by make a decision, I mean just let something happen, and don't do anything, and you'll be a hero, and such is life.
Doug's like, we don't really need elected leaders in our society. We should all be given the same
Yeah.
same amount of
He
power.
becomes a pure libertarian.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Uh-oh.
You know what I was thinking though while I was watching that, the whole idea that he did nothing, and it's just like all of these action and sci-fi movies. You might have heard me say this before, but all these action sci-fi movies that come out these days, and the main characters are always like teenage kids, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason, they're the only one, like a 17-year-old, who can save the world.
Right.
Yeah,
and they're
definitely.
giving all this
Those, like, young adult
responsibility.
novels, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I every time I watch one of those, I feel like a lot of fancy editing and cinematography, good stuff on that half, but like the kids, the main character, they never really do anything. You know, they're
Like-
really just carried along for the ride. You know, it's kind of like the Transformers movies. It's like
Or the new Fantastic Four.
I haven't seen it.
Well, they're all kids
Oh,
now.
I
They're all like
saw it.
17-year-olds, even
I-
though they're
I
all
saw it.
29.
It was pretty.
You saw it?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it in theaters.
They're
Oh
all
my God.
they're all kids played by 30-year-olds.
They're all supposed to be like 17, 18-year-olds.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
like
Kate Mara's like
Reed-
They're supposed to be in
32.
high
well,
school.
at least Reed and Ben Graham are supposed to be like just out of high school.
Right. And
What?
there's like a flashback sequence I saw in the trailer, and I read like it was supposed to take place in like 2003 or something.
Oh yeah, there was a weird thing where like they do a weird
It's
time
like,
jump.
These
and
are
it's
kids.
like,
These look
that's
like
weird.
10. These look like they're like baby kids, and they become like 30-year-old adults in
Yeah.
like the span of 7 years.
It's weird.
Well, that
It was,
sounds kind of cool.
It was just you should all watch it. It's just
Was it bad?
It's bad.
What?
It's bad in
Really?
like such a weird way. It's just
I
like
heard it was kind of Cronenberg-y too.
well, yeah. There was a big Cronenberg-esque part.
It's so weird.
Cool.
Because like when they first kind of get their powers, which the movie first of all is only about an hour 45,
Yeah.
like an hour and a half
Wow,
or whatever.
that's
so it's
short.
super short,
That's short.
and you could tell that like it looks like a lot of stuff was just chopped up.
Yeah, I
and,
heard
put
like
on
a
the cutting room floor.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And like they don't really get their powers till like an hour into the movie.
What?
Really?
Like it takes some time.
Jesus.
That reminds me.
Doom is done terrible.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah. That's a given.
the part where they first get their powers and like they're kind of like all like in the lab and you see like Mr. Fantastic is all like stretched out and stuff. That was actually kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
But like it just like didn't really make sense of like beats and like why we care, and it's kind of just all over the place. And you could tell like somebody like there are a lot of different people who had their hands all over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Sorry.
Well, was it better than the other Fantastic Four films?
The thing about the other Fantastic Four ones, but they were like as bad as they were, like they held together on like a structural level.
Yeah. I want to watch the
Whereas like the new one just kind of whole fell apart. Like you could tell
It looked like a
it was
mess.
something,
Yeah.
but it was like a student had an assignment to do and just kind of threw it together really quickly.
Right.
Like, oh, there's moments of like really good stuff in here, but like it just doesn't hold together as a film.
From the trailers, it looked like tonally like a mess. Like I wasn't sure if this is like a serious, grim, dark thing or it's supposed to be like fun. Like every commercial I saw was like a different tone. It was, I don't know.
Just check it out.
I will.
We could do a podcast about that.
Well, maybe we should. Well, I do have another movie podcast.
Oh
friends,
yeah,
so
whatever.
Sorry.
Yeah, maybe me and Cam the intern should just
Oh,
cut you
yeah.
out of that. And,
Oh,
Then you could be my intern. And intern, I can
Intern?
teach you how to cook up summer in the winter. It's a Kanye West line.
I was waiting for the Kanye drop.
Uh,
Almost an hour in.
Okay,
Okay.
let's get back to Doug.
Let's wrap it up.
So, like, he's back in his room.
He gets
The
ice cream.
Ice cream is sent to as the mayor sends him ice cream that Doug is just like, oh, I'm just gonna leave this like out in my desk
Leave
and
it
not in
melt.
the freezer. I'll just
Yeah.
let it melt because I'm an idiot.
Basically. And then
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much
That's
it. I wasn't. What did you think?
I liked it.
I just had some problems with like how Doug saved the day.
But even I kind of like that. I kind of like that. Like Doug saved the day by just like not really making a decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like I said. Like I really loved how it reminded me of contemporary teen action films, and I just loved.
Of course.
I just loved the harassment from Mr. Bone.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
That was pretty funny.
like I love
Yeah, that
I
was
love
so
watching
excessive,
Doug
yeah.
squirm.
And there
you
were
know?
some funny jokes in there.
Yeah.
Like, we had we had our JFK voice. We had Let Me Repeat
Mhm.
Myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
All
was
the stuff
funny.
with the mayor I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
Some
Mr.
good
Swirly
sets,
was
some
great.
good. Oh, I love Mr.
Drowning.
Swirly. I just love that he's like,
Oh yeah, and the death of Mr. Swirly.
The death and the rebirth of
Yeah.
Mr. Swirly.
freeze in peace, Mr. Swirly. All right, so let's go on to the next segment. Doug's No Dummy.
Say what?
Doug's no dummy.
Hey, you thought Doug was a dummy? I disagree with you.
I
Doug's
saw
no dummy.
I saw
Doug
the
is no
title.
dummy.
I saw the title. I'm like, yeah, this should be good.
I saw the title. I was like, bullshit.
So Doug has discovered that he has a talent.
Tonight, I found out I have a talent.
No, you don't.
You do not find.
Bullshit.
Well, we find out at the end that
He doesn't have talent.
I'll get to
Spoiler
what he says
alert.
at the end. Yeah.
He's lying.
So I like how he's like, tonight I found out I have a talent, and I also found out some other things. I was like, what was your talent?
Yeah, I was implying that. It's like,
Sex?
I'm really good at
Yeah.
blowjobs. But then
It's
but
gonna
then
be
I
right
found
after
out.
the Mr. Bone thing that we were talking about.
But then I found out I'm not old enough to do it yet.
So everyone is signing up. Excuse me. Everyone is signing up for a student talent show, and Skeeter asks Doug if he's going to sign up. And I love Doug's reaction to that question. He goes, "Huh? Me? No way, Skeeter. I don't have any talent." And I thought, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, the episode should just end right there. Credits and theme song. Now that would have been
He's
funny.
pretty self-aware.
But
Yeah.
wait,
He's
but
looking
Doug
for
does.
him.
We've established earlier, Doug does have a talent. He's a great voice actor. Remember back in the Judy episode where he was prank calling Judy and he was like, I'm Mr. funny something or whatever.
No, I don't. But
He did like a great like voice.
So he does have a talent.
Yeah,
but he
he's
just
a
doesn't
great
know it.
voice
He's
actor.
a voice actor.
He's a great voice actor,
He's
but-
the Billy West of the Doug world.
which is ironic.
Whoa.
Whoa, Billy West. But
well,
yeah.
Although Roger does have an equally funny line after Doug's, Roger, he yanks the talent show sign-up sheet away from Doug, and he says, besides, you'll make a fool out of yourself, which would be pretty outrageously funny. And and this definitely,
And he's right.
This is definitely the funniest part in the entire episode. I can never get enough of Roger belittling Doug, and the way that Doug just eats the shit. Anyways,
Eats the shit.
Roger secretly signs Doug up for the show, knowing that it will embarrass Doug, which actually is some pretty good situational comedy. Although I didn't like the way they played it out. I would have preferred that Doug didn't know about it up until.
Oh yeah,
but
Right.
Well, I like because it's like he signs his name, which apparently is like a legally binding contract.
You have to do it.
Because like after what was the teacher's name?
I forgot her name.
I was
Mrs.
gonna write it
Penny
down,
or
but
something.
I forgot. And she like says everyone's name out loud, like Skeeter, Patty,
Yeah.
Roger, and then she goes, and Doug,
and he's
Funnie.
like, oh.
And he's just like, what? As if like he could have just been like, Roger signed my name. You could take that off.
Yeah.
And that would have been it. Like he
Yeah.
could have just been like, listen, like Roger, he's always pulling my chain.
Right,
right,
Just
right.
take my name off that, and she would have just been like, fine.
Oh, okay.
But like I said, it's a legally binding contract. Once someone's name is on this sheet of paper, they have to be in the show.
Yeah,
Right.
there's no way out of it. And Doug just ate the shit.
He takes it.
He ate the
takes
shit.
it like a
I like
mother.
that. Like for the talent show, they only give the kids like a day to prepare. Like the next day, they have to do the show.
Yeah, it's like he has
Like
a.
how good could it be? I love when he says like "Thanks, Raj" right afterwards. He calls him
Thanks,
Raj.
Raj.
Because they're such great friends. They're on like
Apparently, they
Yeah.
keep hanging out.
Like, did you guys ever experience anything like that though when you were in school and you were unexpectedly called up to do something that you didn't expect?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any funny stories? Like, did you cry or did you wuss
I don't
out?
remember honestly.
Did you-
I can't remember. I blocked it. It was so terrible. I just blocked it out of my memory.
Yeah, I'm probably sure I'm the same.
Oh yeah, like those moments are like so surreal.
One time I was
right?
called up and Mr. Bone was threatening me, and I just blocked that out of my mind.
Yeah,
Calls you like
are
3:30 a.m.
What-
Your permanent record.
what else did you block out from Mr. Bone?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
No.
let's not.
When of course I have a story. Like it reminds me of the time I was unexpectedly.
Uh-oh.
This is funny. If you know me, this is funny. I was unexpectedly called upon to give an anti-drug speech to the class in the sixth grade.
Yeah.
I was a good kid. I wasn't into any
Sure
shit.
you were.
And it was just so funny though because I was like always great at public speaking.
Yeah.
And I always won the competition every year at my school. And I think she just thought that that I had prepared a speech when in fact I had not. So it ended up being me. I was 12 or 13.
I don't have anything.
Yeah. I kind of went up to the stage and said, well drugs are bad and clean. That's pretty much what I said.
Yes.
Because I'd seen South Park. Anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
Then so after that, Roger makes fun of Doug, and they have a fantasy. I wasn't sure whose fantasy because he's like, I can see it now. Is that the fantasy I'm talking about, or is that one later, where he like tries to
On
tell
TV.
he tries to tell a joke?
Oh no, yeah, that happened then.
That happened then.
I think it was
Okay.
Doug's or somebody's.
I wasn't sure whose fantasy
Might have been
it was,
Roger's,
or they
actually.
shared the fantasy.
Oh,
Whoa.
that's a good album title.
Shared
Shared
fantasy.
That's a good double album title.
Shared fantasy
yeah,
and permanent record.
Permanent record.
Each album will be each CD will be labeled like the first one's called his and the next album's called hers.
Oh,
okay.
Anyways,
It's like
it's like REM. They did that with the two-sided vinyls. They always called their different sides different things.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know Peter Gabriel did a thing similar to that recently, where he had an album
right.
called
Scratch My Back.
Scratch My Back, where he covered different artist songs,
Uh-huh.
like Radiohead, Vampire Weekend, other people were on there,
Oh, cool.
Arcade Fire.
Yeah, Arcade
And
Fire is a
then-
good one. Yeah.
There's an album where those bands would then cover his songs.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah.
it was released, but not everyone did it.
Yeah, David Bowie did
David Bowie didn't. Oh yeah,
because he did
which
Heroes.
song did he do? He did do Heroes.
He did Heroes, and David
Yeah.
Bowie did not
David
do
Bowie
it.
was like, no, thanks.
He's not a team player. I
No
guess.
thanks. I'm doing songs for the SpongeBob musical. Thank you
Yes.
very much. Which is a real thing, apparently.
So he goes home. Doug goes home.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you know what? Maybe I'll look through Uncle Happy's old clown trunk.
I don't even want to get into Uncle Happy.
And I was like,
Is that a character? Did we see this?
well, I don't know
Happy?
if we ever see this character.
Uncle Happy?
Yeah, that's what he said, right?
I don't remember.
Does that mean his
So I
name
wrote it
is
down.
Happy Funnie?
That's what I thought. I was like, his name's Happy Funny.
Oh.
Uncle Happy Funny.
What if it was like the last name and like just his mom's maiden name is Happy?
Oh, maybe.
That would be weird.
But there's a Happy in, isn't there a Happy in Death of a Salesman?
Seventh Heaven.
Seventh Heaven?
Seventh Heaven. Are you
Okay.
saying Doug, the show Doug, is in the same universe as Death of a Salesman?
Yes, it is. It is.
That's
it's
amazing.
the Willy Loman. He grows up to be Willy Loman.
He'd be perfect.
Yeah, he would.
Wow.
He uses that American dream, you know? So,
Like, Doug's gonna grow up and he's gonna realize how much, like, it's gonna hit him hard, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's not gonna be a happy adult.
No. Oh yeah. So, anyways, he goes in that Mr. Uncle Happy's drawer.
He finds
or
a book.
Chest. Finds a book. How to be a ventriloquist in one day.
and it was like, that was
God.
very convenient, first of all. I thought that was great. He's like, I
Yeah,
need to find
yeah.
something to learn in one day.
Oh, I only have one
And
day.
he's like, I only have, and then it says that. It was perfect.
Right, and he finds like an old dummy in there.
Yeah.
And he names him Buster.
Buster.
Like Arthur. I thought Arthur.
Yeah.
I thought we should do an episode of Arthur. Anyways.
Okay. I'd be down.
Apparently, this is on topic. Apparently, there's like a Disney's Doug episode where you can see in the background there's like weird kids that look like Arthur and Buster.
Oh, really?
Right.
Yeah,
Of what?
Arthur and Buster.
they look like Arthur and Buster. They're just like in the window and they wave at Doug.
Oh, Jesus.
Whoa.
How dare you go off
They're in the
topic.
same.
That's
they're
on
in the
topic.
same. They're in the same universe too.
Well, apparently at the time, like because both those shows were running at the time, like they shared a lot of writers, like Arthur and Doug, or yeah, Arthur and Disney's Doug.
Why do I recall Arthur being more?
Better.
Yeah,
Well, it was.
it was. It was great. It had a
Yeah, it was a
great
good
theme
show.
song by Bob Marley's son,
Ziggy Marley.
Ziggy.
Ziggy did that? That's such a catchy
Well, it is
song.
a very like.
Yeah.
It is a. It's a very like Rastafarian song.
Yeah,
It's
apparently-
great.
Ziggy's my favorite Marley song,
Oh,
for sure.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I really like Marley and Me.
The dog
That's
is
my
cute.
Yeah, that's my favorite Marley's son.
Marley movie.
Or A Christmas Carol. The Marleys were dead to
Yes,
begin with,
that's
true.
which is true.
Do you think like someone was making like a movie about like somebody's like document about them meeting Ziggy Marley for a year, and the story's gonna be called Marley and Me, and then that movie came out, and they're like, "Fuck."
Man, I hope that dog dies at the end.
Oh, okay, good. All right, it's not a bad movie
Okay.
then.
Yeah, he was pissed.
Where the fuck are we?
We're at when he tries to do his ventriloquism.
Yeah.
And he's just terrible. Like
he's
For his family?
no, before his family, he's just kind of trying it on
Right.
his own.
Yeah.
And he just can't get the concept of
You're not supposed to move your
You're not
mouth.
supposed to move your lips. And he does that whole like instead of B, say D. So of course he keeps the name Buster, and it turns into Duster.
Duster.
And he says that thing over and over again. I forget what it was, but it was like that was something with a lot of B's, or he said them with D's or something.
Probably beats. I'm eating a lot of dates
Beats
today. Or I don't know.
And he has another fantasy about
Him
him
on a
being
TV
on a
show.
show, and he's still just as terrible in that fantasy. But everyone kind of buys like. So I don't know if he's aware of how terrible he is, because even in the fantasy, his mouth is moving at the same time the other one is.
I love
Right,
how like
right.
I love how like unaware he is that he's like fucking terrible, and nobody really tells him throughout the entire episode.
Well,
Yeah.
when he shows it to his family,
Yeah,
his
go
dad's
back.
reaction
That's
like,
the next scene. Yeah.
yeah, he goes, his dad like snickers almost and like goes, very good, son.
Son.
so maybe.
Yeah, they're all kind of like, yeah,
like
good
yeah,
job.
they're all kind of like.
But his dad
Judy
realizes,
loved it.
yeah, his dad
Judy
realizes
loved
his
it.
lips are moving, and he says, like, did anyone else notice his lips were moving? And Judy is like, uses like interpreting it in such like a symbolic way of like society.
It's like us. We never really move
Yeah,
our lips, don't we?
And she starts crying. Like
Yeah.
she's so into it, she starts
Yeah.
crying. And my favorite part was Doug's dad is like clearly just like, what the fuck is wrong with my children? Because he's just like,
He just got-
Judy.
Oh yeah, he says
and
it
he,
twice.
like, and like he's
Judy.
just like, okay, I got this one kid who like doesn't grasp the concept of what a ventriloquist does. Got this other kid who's crying over this symbolism that's not there, and so he's like, Judy, Judy, and for a split second, he like almost breaks the fourth wall and like looks at like, the audience, like where the camera would be if
What
it wasn't
the-
a cartoon.
What do
As
you
if
think,
to say
kids?
like, as if to be like, don't have children, don't have children. You never know what's gonna be up with these kids. What is my fucked up
my
kids?
God.
I don't know where I went wrong.
He's a serial killer.
Yes.
Did you know that? And I'm pretty sure he's probably going to kill his kids.
That's
because
probably
of this.
that's probably why.
He doesn't like his kids anymore.
That's the last episode of Doug.
That's it.
That's
We're
the
done.
season
This is it,
finale of
folks.
Doug.
Yeah.
We're
Kids
never
are dead.
coming back.
So then Doug goes to the place. He's all ready to go.
Oh, the talent show.
The ocarina.
Not of time,
No,
but of
not of
bread
time.
from the
Ocarina
calf.
of Bread. This was before Zelda, so technically they brought the
Oh.
ocarina
Oh,
into
wow.
the public
I
consciousness.
guess so.
What the hell is Skeeter supposed to be, though?
I don't know.
Oh,
some
because
racist thing.
he was wearing like he
I can't
wears
remember.
a turban
Oh,
and
yeah.
also like a bluish, purplish navy or like not like navy the color, like a naval suit, like in an army.
Man, that guy, he's all over the place.
I do not
He's
understand.
a space cadet.
Yeah, and
He has an arrow through the head.
yeah,
Moron.
and then Doug shows him his like ventriloquist act, and Skeeter's like, "Oh, like you moved your lips or something." Like
Yeah.
he does mention it, but Doug's just like, "Ah, good one, Skeeter. Always
Always with
ribbing
the
me.
jokes.
Always."
Always with the
Look at this guy roasted me. The squad's roasted me,
Oh.
and he's just like, okay. So
Roger's
Doug-
band's pretty badass, eh?
Oh,
they're actually
yeah.
pretty good.
They're no beats,
No.
but
No,
I
they're
still
pretty,
think
yeah.
I still think they deserve to win the talent show.
Yeah. Well,
Yes,
like he gets scared of the crowd, and he's supposed to go first. But
Yeah.
then he's like, "Oh, I don't want to go first," and he's like changing shirts because he's getting all sweaty and stuff.
Did you notice the exact 2 seconds after he takes his shirt and puts another one on? Here comes Mr. Dink.
Mr.
Yeah.
Dink. Oh, there's a kid getting
On the-
naked.
on the trail. It's like, oh, jeez. Oh, fuck, I was too late.
Yeah, Roger goes on first. His
Yeah.
band is called. I think I couldn't hear right. Was it Roger
Roger-
Klutz and the Ulcers?
No, yeah, that's it. Roger Klotz and
Okay.
the Ulcers.
Because then they sing a song that says like, they're first of all the band is already like inexplicably ready to go. Like
Yeah.
all their
Yeah.
equipment is set up.
Well, there's second act, so
yeah,
like,
and I believe the song was called Bumpy Gut. It was like I
thought
got
it was-
bumpy gut.
I thought it was Bumpy Tongue.
Bumpy tongue.
You can't hear the song very well at all
No.
because everybody's talking over it.
Yeah.
Even when Patty,
But
Mayo.
Even
Yeah.
Patty's song,
Yeah.
Patty sings a song and people talk over it
Yeah.
the whole time, so you can't hear the song at all.
At one point, Roger, you can hear him say like Bluffington, not Muffington. So Muffington is also a place.
I guess so.
Muffington.
Or is he making like a lewd?
Reference
That's what I was
to
thinking.
vaginas.
And that's
Maybe.
cool because if whether he's talking about a bumpy gut, it's like he drinks a lot of beer, or bumpy tongue, he smokes a lot. Like either way, it's
Or
a badass song.
I think Bumpy Tongue refers to
Cunnilingus.
cunnilingus.
Oh, cunning! He's a cunning linguist.
He's a cunning.
He's really good with
linguist.
words.
Yeah, and Muffington just supports that
Yeah.
theory.
Okay.
Right.
So we know
That's
what.
cool.
But anyway, his like band was he like shreds too. Like he is pretty good at guitar.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was like cool with that. I could see him being like a rock and
A
roll.
rock and
Sid Vicious.
He's already got like the
He's-
leather jacket.
Yeah, he's already dressed like a Sex Pistols band member. So.
Yeah, he's in. So then
He's in.
He's in.
I liked when and then Skeeter was gonna go on, but the cat eats his ocarina.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
stop
the cat-
It stole my
My ocarina. And
What
then,
was the cat's name?
fuck, I forget.
Is it Roger's cat?
Yeah, and I think he
I
said
always forget
it. He
that
said
cat
it, and I
exists.
forget what its name was.
I'll always never remember
And
that
then
cat.
and then the cat chases pork chop,
Right.
Beats the shit out of pork chop.
which is I thought was like
Yeah.
a funny
Yeah.
reverse.
Yeah.
Nice kind of cool character thing.
And then Skeeter tells Mr. Dink what happened, and he says, "Not the old cat and ocarina excuse," which I thought was very funny.
But also, I feel it was uncharacter because Mr. Dink looks like he's actually kind of mad.
Yeah,
Like Mr. Dink does not get mad,
No.
especially over something like that.
yeah.
So I thought that was kind of out of character, Mr. Dink.
Mm.
Cool
Well-
your jets.
well,
also,
Mr.
why is
Dink-
Mr. Dink here?
Because he spends time with kids any
Yeah.
chance he can
I
get.
know,
Any
I
chance he
know,
can get.
I
I hear
know.
there's gonna be a talent show.
He just shows up today like
I want to be the stage manager.
Do you need a casting couch?
Now there's the little thing between Dink and his wife, and I have nothing for this, but there is something there. And when he goes, "You're up, Douglas. Break an egg." And his wife corrects him. It's break a leg.
Break a leg.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's something there.
Why is she there? Why
She
is
like
they-
because
has
she
to be
keeps an
around
eye on him,
She
yeah.
has to keep an eye on him. She
She's
knows
like-
something's up.
he legally can't be there alone.
Yeah, exactly.
He
I have
can't.
to. She's
has
not
to
actually
keep
his
an
wife,
eye
it's
on
his
her.
supervisor. It's like
She's not actually his wife. It just
Yeah,
does something
that's
he
it.
just tells people
legal
just so he
guardian.
feels better about himself. Yeah.
Oh man, but of all the talents that mayonnaise could have had, she thought that it was her best skill. She thought that her best skill would be singing with her voice. Bad move, mayonnaise. Bad
Well,
move.
her song doesn't sound
Yeah,
terrible.
it
No, it doesn't sound
From what
like
you
I
that
can
at
tried to
hear
look
all.
up the
of it.
lyrics, and it sounds like. First of
But-
all, it's written by an 11-year-old, and she's talking about
She
like
wrote it, yeah.
when I was young, my mother told me, or something
Yeah.
like that, and I was like,
Baby,
okay.
you're a superstar.
You don't
This
know
isn't-
anything,
yes.
11-year-old.
It was, but it was like not terrible, and like she had a nice dress. Doug and her kind of sharing moments.
Yeah. Because
Um,
Patty was nervous.
But I can say, in my defense, that she is a bad singer. We were listening from the other room, so
Yeah,
We never
for all
really
we
know for
sure.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
she could
okay.
have been like, everyone could have been like,
yeah.
Fuck was that?
awful.
Okay, guys, let's just do a sympathy clap. Lowest possible. Go,
wow.
Patty.
Fuck you,
Great.
man.
Really great.
Okay.
I like when Doug brings out his shirt and then no.
Sweaty.
Doug hands his shirt to Pork Chop. Pork Chop wrings it out.
Oh
I
yeah.
think, in the plants.
Yeah.
And then do you remember the plant falls
Yeah,
down
yeah,
and makes
yeah.
like a funny sound? It was like
It was like-
clearly a human. Like,
No,
going like ooh.
It was like, pew.
Yeah. Like,
That's
it
the
was
exact
exactly
sound.
like that. Like it's like you just recorded into a microphone, no additional effects.
Yeah. That's like the sound. That's the whole sound design behind Doug.
What do you think that says about Doug?
That his sweat is poisonous to animals or to plants.
Mm.
His sweat is so like weird and toxic that it can give plants the ability
He's
to
so-
express their distaste.
He's so lame that even like a plant like can't survive on this. Like
It just chokes on
it
his.
kills itself.
He's
Essentially,
so
maybe the
lame.
plant just killed
He's
itself.
so lame that even plants think he's lame.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
So after Patty, it's Chalky Studebaker,
Mm.
who has two dummies.
Two
He has
dummies.
two dummies, and he can do it without moving his lips.
Not only can he do it without moving his lips, at one point he does like they all say
They all
something
speak
together.
together,
They all speak
yeah.
together. He does multiple
Yeah.
voices at once.
I
was
think
like,
he's fixing
wow.
I think he has a record
He's
in one of
great.
them.
No, man, something's going. Come
I
on.
don't know.
You think it's like
We
an
just-
elaborate?
There's no way he could have done that. He doesn't even speak at three. Like he has three different pitches at the same
Ooh.
time. Like there's just no way.
So you think he's pulling some sort of ruse?
Yeah.
Yes, I think that he's up to some hijinks, and he got away with it.
Do you know what? He later grew up to be Jeff Dunham.
Who's that?
Who's
Who's that?
Oh, never mind. You don't need to know who Jeff Dunham is.
Who's Jeff?
He's a
Dunham?
ventriloquist.
He's like a
comedian.
he's
very
ventriloquist
popular.
comedian. He's very popular. He's like very like.
I
He
probably
did
Some
that.
people really don't like him.
You
though.
remember Ahmed the Dead Terrorist? It was like a viral video.
Yeah,
back
I think
in the
I might have
day.
saw something briefly.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Like I remember when I was like in high school, like he was really popular when I was in high school, and
Yeah.
like people always come up to me and it's like, "Do you watch Jeff Dunham?" I was like, "Oh no, not really." And they're like, "Oh, why? You would love Jeff Dunham."
And you were just like, and then as soon as you
And then when I first saw a Jeff Dunham thing, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I would like Jeff Dunham."
Did you
Like that's like the biggest insult.
Did you like salad fingers?
Oh, I love salad fingers.
I like
good.
knew what salad fingers was.
I-
never like loved it, but I was
Well,
like, oh, that's
I
so
thought it-
creepy.
I thought it was
Yeah.
great, and it was like after high school, I was in college and I discovered it. And I remember the first time I showed one of my closest friends, like me and him had been out for a night of drinking. We went back to his place to like listen to music or whatever. And I said, "You want to see something really cool?" He's like, "Yeah." So I play the first episode of Salad Fingers,
Right.
and I'm laughing in front of the computer, laughing, and then I look at him. And he's just looking at me with this very concerned.
What the fuck is wrong with this
That's
guy?
No.
exactly what he was
He
thinking.
looked at you the way Doug's dad looked at us.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
Anyways, so you weren't a fan of what's his name?
Jeff Dunham.
I was not a fan of Chalky.
No, Chalky's like too broad.
He's too good. Is that what you mean?
It's too broad. Nah, whatever. The two dummies.
I did appreciate he was dressed like a football player, and he had football playing dummies as well.
Okay, that was
like they're a team.
That was cute.
He
That
clearly
was
had some
he was
sort
well
of accent.
choreographed.
Well, apparently he does a great job too.
Yeah, because everyone loves
Everyone
it.
claps and loves it.
And as soon as Doug walks on stage with his dummy, like everyone goes like, "Oh, another dummy!"
Yeah, one guy literally goes,
yeah.
"Another dummy," and then gives a thumbs down.
Boo!
Like he's an emperor.
Remember, yeah, like Joaquin Phoenix. Remember, we were saying earlier in this podcast how there's like moments where you think it's going to be a fantasy, but it turns out this was the best moment because things just go horrible for Doug.
Yeah.
Oh
Just
yeah,
one thing after another, and I like he ends up singing the Incy Bincy Spider.
Yeah, without it having a head. So yeah, he's like
head falls off,
he's about to like Roger tells him he's terrible, but Patty's like, "No, you'll be good."
and I'll be the first one clapping.
She
Yeah.
probably cursed him.
Yeah, and
By
then
saying that.
exactly.
You fucker, Doug.
And then Rogers like says something else, and then Doug's like, "Whatever, fuck off." He doesn't say "fuck off."
he says like Roger, back off.
Yeah.
Which is great.
And did stand up to
That's
Roger.
the
like,
first time he
okay.
stood up to Roger.
And then he just goes out and fucks up immediately.
And Roger's probably like, "What?" That would be
Funny.
the sweetest moment for Roger ever. Yeah.
So people are already knocked down, like I said, with like the thing, and then the head comes off immediately.
Yeah.
like immediately. And there's a weird part where it shows like his parents. And his parents almost like smile. Did anyone else notice that?
No.
They look like, I don't know if it should have been done in reverse order,
right.
but they kind of like, hey, like that's funny. Like for a second.
Mr.
Well-
Funnie likes to see his kids suffer.
While Judy thinks of it like, yeah, exactly. He's really
Judy
like I said,
thinks
he's a
it's
serial killer.
He's-
Yeah.
sure as shit.
So Judy takes it as symbolism for like a dummy is without a head. It's like our society. And for some reason, Doug keeps going. Like the whole like once
Yeah, you
again,
would think he would run off
does not-
immediately.
yeah, or like get the head back or something. But like once again, his grasp on what ventriloquism is not there. He does not fully understand it.
No, he does.
I really like the music in this scene though.
Right.
It was so intense.
Yeah, I was like, oh, shit, Doug's in fucking hot water.
It was really good music.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
It was. I have to say, Doug. I mean, in real life, if that happened to an 11-year-old kid, I know for a fact they would run off the stage crying in tears.
Oh, yeah.
But he really holds himself together. He's a complete schmuck, but he holds himself together. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess so.
But
Good,
then,
Doug.
yeah, good for you, Doug. But then Patty Mayonnaise saves the day by
Yes.
saying, "Hey, Skeeter."
And Pork Chop, the fucking dog.
What did Pork Chop do?
Pork
I don't
Chop
know
came
what he
in
did,
with
but-
the drum without. He did a boomts, despite the fact that it was only a snare drum. So it'd just be like da-dum. Like there was no. I noticed that. I thought that was weird.
Oh yeah, then like Patty dresses up Skeeter as a ventriloquist. He puts like little lines on his mouth,
And like he pops his head behind the curtain, so he's
Right.
in
where the head should have been,
which is
which doesn't work at all.
no
Because like Doug would need to be so far back against
the
this
curtain.
curtain, which is like people probably couldn't have seen him.
The timing, like you would need to mark that on the stage
Oh, yeah.
beforehand with that tape.
Oh,
Yeah,
And
that was luck.
what's even more fucked up about it is like the animators. I guess they didn't get the memo that like Skeeter's head's supposed to be outside of the curtain over the puppet's body,
Yeah.
and they probably just like, oh, the dummy now has Skeeter's head.
Yeah,
So they
actually drew it as if he
actually
was.
drew like Skeeter's neck connected to the
Yeah.
dummy's body, so it just looks like he's like a Skeeter dummy.
Mhm.
Which
Get a
is
job,
weird.
animators.
Although I did appreciate that, like, I guess the kids would probably know, like, hey, that's not a dummy, like, that's clearly Skeeter.
Yeah,
But, like, he also, like, they also didn't have him in the show earlier.
right.
So I was like, oh, I can buy that they, like,
yeah.
and, like, he's got a little, like, oh, that doesn't look like anyone we've seen in the show before, I guess it must be. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I guess maybe they thought it was part of the act.
Maybe. But,
I can see that.
So, essentially, when Skeeter becomes the dummy,
Hmm.
Doug, like Skeeter is the one who like saves the act because he's the one making jokes. Pretty much just makes fun of Doug,
Yeah.
which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
But
Calls
Doug's
him
just
a
kind of
dummy.
like, yeah, you're the dummy. Yeah, and but then they do the thing where they like do the water drinking and talks and stuff, and they both talk at the same time. Which Chalky already did that, so I don't
Right.
know why people would get more excited about that.
With two dummies.
With two dummies
Yeah.
too.
I think it was Pork Chop being on stage also kind of helped the things.
Dun.
If you have a dog playing drums, a dog playing drums, like
Oh
That's
yeah, that
amazing.
should have been the talent.
That's fucking
my
crazy.
dog. I taught my dog to play drums.
I think people are just used to it by now. He's like a local celebrity.
Apparently, Patty is talking to the dog now. You know.
Yeah.
It's
Patty
this,
can understand
this
him.
disease that's spreading.
Everybody's
and everyone cheers, and they're like, "Wow, go Doug!" And Patty specifically cheers for Doug,
Mhm.
like he is worth like praising for some reason,
She
despite the
knows
fact that
she did it.
Yeah.
that she did it.
Doug!
Doug, you're the best. Oh, growl, Doug. And it's like, wow, Doug, all you did was go out there, fuck up. Immediately. It's like stepping on the stage and falling
Right.
immediately.
And then
pretty
you
much did
continue
that.
to humiliate
Wow, great.
yourself.
Enough so that a girl, like the girl who you like, has to save you, and then she praises you
Yeah,
out of just pity.
that ain't getting any brownie points.
She must
Doug.
really like him, I guess.
I guess
so.
Maybe.
But it doesn't make any sense. Like that beats out the Rogers Cunnilingus song. I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, why did the principal or Vice Principal Bone realize like that's like clearly a song about giving head to a lady?
He would have put that on his permanent record.
Yeah.
Roger,
Permanent
your permanent record.
I think Mr. Bone would have put that in his permanent spank bank. If you know what I mean?
So at the end, then Doug's looking at it, like doing his diary thing
Yeah.
again, and he's like, "Maybe I didn't find out my talent." Okay, well, you kind of set up the thing saying
Yeah.
that you did find out.
You
his
lied.
talent.
You lied to
You
us,
essentially lied. Yeah, everyone lied to him throughout this whole episode. His parents said he was good. Patty made him believe that he wasn't a fuck up.
Doug.
Like,
Man, he was a fuck up.
yeah. But then he says, "But I found out I have great friends," which I was like, "Okay, that's
Yeah,
nice. Yeah,
That's legit.
That's good. He does have.
Do you
good
think
friends.
He does.
Do you think he considers Roger one of those?
Probably.
friends?
He's an idiot.
Probably he has like it's probably like a really like love and hate relationship with
yes.
like Roger.
They're the
like
Fab Four,
an
so-
abusive
Yeah.
relationship.
Right.
pretty
Wait, who would they
much.
be if they were the Fab Four?
So Roger would be John Lennon.
I would say so because he's kind of like the,
The asshole.
Asshole.
The asshole.
No, I mean
The
I love
asshole,
John Lennon,
but
I
like
love John
you
Lennon,
know,
but-
yeah, I know
Just
exactly
attitude.
what you mean. I would Skeeter would probably be Ringo because he's kind of like
I
the
thought
silly
Doug would be
one.
Ringo.
Doug might be Ringo.
He's just kind of bad at everything, but people kind
Hey.
of prep up his ego.
Hey, don't say that about Ringo. He's the
I
best
love
drummer.
Ringo. Oh, I love Ringo.
Mayonnaise is definitely
The drums.
George, just because she is like of the Fab Four. She's the character that
Yeah.
you know the least, I think.
Yes.
Maybe
I
it's
say
'cause
so.
Maybe
The
it's
most
because she's a girl.
mysterious.
What?
Yeah, most mysterious.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Harrison is mayonnaise.
And of course, for the record, George Harrison is amazing.
Oh yeah, I love all of them.
I love
yeah.
all the Beatles.
Yeah. No.
I
we're
just mean he was always the one that the quiet Beatles.
Yeah,
what
yeah,
they call
exactly.
Him.
They
Yeah,
did
yeah.
call him the quiet one.
And I guess Skeeter would be Paul.
See, it's a hard thing.
That
to
makes
be...
sense because Skeeter's eccentric. Paul's a little eccentric,
Yeah.
a little bit, on different levels.
Yeah.
They're
And
both weirdly creative.
like Paul McCartney, Band on the Run, Skeeter. He should be in prison someday. And
So he will be on the run.
I
Essentially.
think I can see
But
Skeeter
then
listening to
that would
Wings.
make Doug Ringo,
Ringo.
which I don't know.
Or maybe, but would Doug be a
No.
Paul?
no.
Doug would be like
Skeeter would have to be Ringo because he beats off, and Ringo's the drummer.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And
Again.
would Doug be like the Pete Best, whereas like the one that like no one really
Oh, that's
Yeah.
chalky.
Yeah.
That's
No,
chalky. No,
that
that's
make-
chalky.
There's two of them though. There's Pete
actually
Best and another guy.
Pete Best was actually very well liked because he was like the most handsome one,
Right,
but he just like wasn't a great drummer. So that's why
Yeah.
they got rid of him. Poor Pete.
man.
But he's still alive, right?
Yep.
He's like famous because of the Beatles.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
he goes to like all the Beatles conventions.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, he's still alive.
That'd be so crazy. Like have fame and fortune for something that you never did.
That you missed.
That you missed out on.
Yeah, that apparently there was a thing where around the time when the Beatles were blowing up,
Yeah.
the company, I think we talked about this. Some record company released an album called Best of the Beatles,
Yeah.
and people bought it thinking like, oh wow, like I guess it's like greatest hits,
Yeah.
despite the fact that they've only just come out. But it turns out it was Pete Best,
Oh, okay.
originally from the Beatles. That was the long form.
Best of the Beatles.
Best of the Beatles.
Oh,
That's
you
pretty
mean
great.
like
Get
he's
it?
the
His last
best-
name.
It's like me saying like
Like-
Yuri of the Funny Talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with
Best.
his last name. Yeah.
Ah, that's clever.
I know. Okay.
So thoughts?
Well, at the very end as well, Porkchop does ventriloquist.
Oh
on his
yeah, that's
own.
right.
And he's better than Doug, which
Right.
says a lot when your dog is better at you than something that a human should be better than an animal
Oh,
at.
but Pork Chop's better. Pork Chop's better at everything than Doug,
pretty much, yeah.
except for like speaking human.
yeah.
But like, if you're a talking dog, I mean, do you really need to speak human?
It sounded like he was doing a knock knock joke too.
Yeah,
Which
it's
I
like,
thought was cool.
and like that makes the puppet dog bite his
Bite
own
a nose.
nose. It's great.
that was good.
I
Good pork
actually, I X'd out as soon as he picked up his dummy. Like at the very end of the episode, I was like, I think I've seen
You
enough.
X'd out of your legally obtained DVD copy.
No, I watched it online.
Uh-oh.
No, I mean for free. It was a free.
Whoa!
We're gonna have to pay
on
money.
Amazon.com, where you can buy every episode of the original Doug series for free, which we do every week.
Obviously.
this was not an illegal stream. I guarantee it.
Okay.
I would know. So what my thoughts were that of the two segments, I really enjoyed the first one because it was just such a pleasure to see these two new these fucking stupid characters.
Mayor Robert Bob White
Yeah,
and
and
Mr. Swirly.
exactly.
Yeah, you know what? They were great.
They were great to
Yeah.
watch. They were like, to me, the new Mr. Dinks. Not to take away the glory of
Mr.
Dink.
Diggs really been like slacking these last couple
Yeah.
episodes.
But then in
Just
this,
hanging out at talent shows.
Yeah.
any situation with kids. But in the second segment,
Yeah.
segment, I think I could have liked it more than the first because of the setup in the first act. And I thought that it would have been really funny if they had played the whole episode where Doug didn't know, and then, or maybe like in the second act is when he's on stage, he finds out, shit, you have to go up on stage and to the talent show, Doug.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
instead, it just went the ventriloquist
Yeah.
way, and I don't care for that. To be honest, I never
It's
really.
a dying art.
I don't get a kick out of any TV episode that's about that subject matter. I never enjoyed it, so I didn't really dig it at all. But the Mr. Swirly, gotta
And
love him.
and the whole thing about the second one too was
Yeah.
that like it just could have been, the whole problem could have been solved by him being like, actually, Roger, put my name down.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or
Yeah.
yeah. Or they could have just stopped it right after. What was it I said?
I have no
I
talent.
have no talent.
no
Oh,
talent.
Skeeter, you know I'm a talentless. You know I'm a talentless piece of shit.
Skeeter, I'm a piece of shit.
You sure are, Doug. Honk honk. Okay. Well, yeah, it was. I didn't really like this. The second one's kind of lame.
Yeah, but yeah, the first one was pretty fun, I guess.
Yeah.
I know maybe I said I didn't like before, but yeah, like Mr. Swirly and the mayor pretty much made
Yeah,
it.
Mayor
Yeah.
White, vote for me. All right, everybody.
Hopefully, Mr. Swirly dies in every episode he's in.
Yes.
That would be
He's
great.
like the Kenny.
The
He
Kenny.
just
We'll,
keeps
we'll have to
dying.
keep an eye out for him, see if he comes back. and
Mr.
see his-
Swirly.
we'll see what his life is like
I
after
think he.
this.
It'll
I
be an
think he.
event.
After he comes back from the dead.
I think he does come back a couple times.
Really?
I think I read like an episode synopsis of the very last episode of Doug, and he's in it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so he makes it to the very end.
Let's just skip
Is it
right
about
to
him
that.
like exacting his revenge on Doug, like for murder? For
Oh, you murdered me! He's the ghost of
you
Mr.
saved my
Swirly.
job, but lost my life.
You saved my job.
Why did you
but
tell me sooner?
sooner?
How am I supposed to run my job? How am I supposed to run my own job? Okay, well, that's it. I guess that's it, everybody. I'm Coconut Buyer. You can find me at YouTube, Coconut Buyer. I'm also at YouTube, on Twitter. There's a Coconut Buyer Facebook page somewhere. A lot of Indian people are joining it. I don't know why. Just a lot of Indian people are joining my Facebook
like
page.
Native Americans or people from like India.
I think
the
people
country?
from India with all like names from people that would be in that country.
Do they have coconuts in India?
I don't know.
Like, do people want to buy coconuts from you?
I have no idea. Well, some people have like contacted me and being like, "Hello, I would like to buy coconuts. How much are you selling for?" And I'm like, "Sit and spin, motherfucker." And they're like, "May God bless your soul."
Well, you should also be like, actually, I'm coconut buyer. You sell, not coconut seller. I don't sell coconuts. I buy them.
No, I think maybe no.
He wanted you to buy coconuts.
They were offering me like coconuts to buy from them.
Okay.
Well, let's just set the record straight. Do you buy or sell coconuts?
No.
Okay, then.
Well, I would buy like a coconut frappuccino.
Are you in love with
That
the
sounds
cocoa
disgusting.
nut buyer?
That sounds absolutely disgusting.
I'm in love with the cocoa nut buyer. That's what people should say when they like your stuff.
Are you taking a shit right now? Are you shitting?
Yeah, I just did. Anyways,
May
so,
I?
Yes.
When I plug, quote unquote,
Yeah.
does it have to be about me, or can I plug stuff for other people?
You,
can plug
if you
stuff
want
for other
to.
people.
But
Okay.
It should be about you.
Keep watching Lifestyle and Lifestyle.
This
on
is about me.
Lifestyle.
This is
Alright.
about me. What the things that I admire, the things that go into who I am. So, I have to say, more people got to listen to Jeff Buckley. He's been dead a while now, but he's one of the greatest guitar players and singers I've ever heard. The '90s grunge scene. Sorry, maybe it wasn't exactly grunge. He kind of like took it off on his own direction. But he's an amazing performer. So I recommend people go out, buy his albums, even the live albums, because they're great too. And also, not enough people are watching Last Man on Earth with Will
Oh, I
Forte.
love Last Man
It's
on
a
Earth.
great show, people. A great show. It's probably the most original comedy that's been on TV in the past year. Like the most original new comedy. So,
Yeah, it's great. I always it always takes it places where I would never expect it.
Yeah,
to.
it's
that's
always-
what I really like about
you
it.
don't know where
you never
the
know
show's
what's
going.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
Is that coming back?
Yeah, it's coming
Yeah.
back. It got all these
I
Emmy
should
nominations
I should
too.
watch
Like,
it.
it's
It's
hit.
good.
Yeah,
It's great.
best actor.
I really
best
need
director.
to watch it,
Oh,
but I
wow.
keep forgetting. What about you, Cam? Any plugs?
I don't think I have any plugs.
Uh,
Not really. Are we just plugging things that we like music?
Oh
and
no!
stuff?
Well, if you have like a brand thing, like Laura plugs her show.
I used to plug my Plenty of Fish page, which
you took down.
I should say no. I actually just re-updated it the other day.
Okay. Any matches?
Oh man, you know what's funny is there's that I don't pay to use the Plenty of Fish, and they're always trying to get you to upgrade where you pay for it and you get more opportunities. And there's like a thing that said someone wants to meet you, one tick, right? So I clicked on the one tick, and then it goes to this page where there's a girl's profile, and I just assumed it was her. So I said, well, I want to meet you too, and then I realized they tricked me. Like
They tricked you.
She didn't want to meet me. So if you're out there, I didn't mean to bother you, miss. Okay.
Very nice.
Oh, I always get because I signed up for like a Plenty of Fish page like a long time ago as like a practical joke. I swear to God. And like,
Well, I wasn't joking.
no, that's fine. But when I did it, it was a joke, and I keep getting emails from them.
Yeah,
saying,
me too.
Like, Come back to Plenty of Fish.
Yeah.
There's still so many fish.
Come on, guys. We know about Tinder, but forget about that.
What's that, huh?
Oh, excuse me. Okay, so no plugs for you, Kane?
I guess not. It's just plugging
Yeah.
myself.
No plugs.
uh,
don't want to plug Kanye's presidential career.
Oh well, he's going to be an amazing president, so
Yeah,
that's normal.
yeah.
But it's just me, Cam, the other
All right.
intern, cooking up summer in the
Cam,
winter.
The other intern cooking up summer in the intern. Well, I'm gonna bring it back to this bitch right here who was talking mad shit about me in the press. What's good, Cam?
You're good. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks for being on the
Yeah,
show.
thanks,
No
Cam.
problem.
You're
Thanks
a nice
for
guy.
letting us record in your house.
It's cool in this basement.
It is
eh?
very
It's so
very
hot
cool.
outside.
Oh
Yeah.
my god! Don't. Ugh, we have to go outside. So, disgusting.
Ah.
First world problems. Am I right?
Yeah.
First world problems.
I'm pretty sure hotness, like it being hot outside, is also in third worlds.
That's true.
Oh yeah,
That's
I guess
true.
I guess they would probably have it worse. Okay, everybody. So that's it. Sorry, this is like an hour and 30 fucking minutes.
Bye.
What do you end it with again?
Oh, I don't know.
Funny, stay funny.
Hey, well, it's stay funny, kids. That's our catchphrase now.
Keep talking funny.
Keep talking funny, man.
You're not funny.
Okay.